Well, that's odd. Bam, 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 bam. Back, 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 back. Home dashboard, dashboard. I wish I used Linux so I would have advice. Here's my findings. Nexus 5. So you can get hold on. Let me set this up real quick. I don't know if this is still on the same thing or not. Let me see if this is still on. Hold on 1 second. Bam, bam. And stop that. Stop that. Oh, I think I just broke it too. Oh, sorry. Auto find and activate. Activate source. Okay, I guess that's on. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know why. What's up? Yeah, it's so I just got a message from YouTube saying let me see. Bam, 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 bam. Which was weird. It says due to a copyright match, your stream was interrupted. Streams are interrupted when copyrighted content is detected. After copyright content is no longer being streamed, it will be re-enabled. So I guess it's not a copyright strike, but you can't. That's just a YouTube video though. Like I checked to see if it was the TLC. Is it TLC? So the video itself says it's Hoarder's YouTube, and it actually just says subscribe. And I looked in. That's what I was looking in before, and it doesn't say BBC or have the copyright data here. So it looked like it was just YouTube, and even on the YouTube it says 1 in 20 people have a problem with hoarding. This extreme compulsion, blah 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 blah. Our dedicated team here to dig people out from being trapped. It doesn't say send us money on blah blah blah, or any, it doesn't say go to the BBC.com or anything like that. So that's weird. I'll send you guys a link if you guys want to watch it. Here, I'll post it in the chat if you guys want to finish it. I know it sucks to not be able to. Whack and do it. So I'll send you guys a link real quick. Here you go. Bam, bam. Here's the link if you guys want to finish watching that. Yeah, YouTube algo's always watching. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's the first. That's the first time that's happened to me. It's happened one time. I was streaming in up in Atlanta, and I was going by a restaurant, bar, whatever, and I was on the path. I wasn't even in it, and they were playing copyrighted music, and I just was filming, and it was in the background, and it gave me a notification rebroadcasting copyrighted music because it was the radio, or so. I guess you need, and I could have swore maybe I have to set something up, but because I'm a YouTube partner now, usually it gives you the option to profit share, to say like, okay, whoever we were just watching gets half the money from the video, but it didn't. It just stopped it. I didn't get not even either. Not even a warning. It just said your stream was interrupted when copyrighted content is detected. After the copyrighted comment or copyrighted material is no longer being streamed, the stream will automatically be re-enabled. So if I just would have sat around and waited long enough, it would have just restarted on its own. Richard, physics things was monopolies. What do you mean? Monopolies. Hold on, let me finish what I'm doing here. I'm getting off track here. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, come on. So here, I'll show you real quick what I was telling you about. Let me put this up real quick. What up, Baxter? Someone was hating on someone for being Jewish, and I got banned because I stopped it. Is that my fault? Someone was hating on someone for being Jewish, and I got banned because I stopped it. Is that my fault? So hold on. Here's the problem. Use the authorities at your disposal. Report people that are being hateful. If you become hateful trying to stop hate, You know what I'm saying? That so I don't know what you said, but when someone's out front, you don't want to be like, "Hey asshole." You want to be like 911. You know what I mean? I can understand the want to be like, I can like what I would be is like, dude, you're being a jerk. I don't agree with you. And then I'd be like, report, bam, and call, and then move on with my life. Hate, you know, like hate plus hate equals hate. Monty Polies didn't get a notification. Then I am a Jew too. You know, brother, listen, the computer doesn't know that. You know what I mean? That's why it's best to just report stuff. And the thing is, so many people lie about everything. Like you have people that come on saying that they're whatever, an allied whatever movement, left or right wing, and then once they become friends, they're like, you asshole, you know, and like people are bad people. I don't want to be around bad people. The monopole. You're talking about, yeah, monopole magnets. Yeah. That's magnets that only have one pole, monopole. So like instead of having north and south, they only have one monopole. Yeah. It's all depending on the words you're trying. Yes, right. I said, please no hate. There's no point to hate. Right? Yeah. And you shouldn't have gotten in any trouble. I mean, there's no point. You can't fight fire with fire. I reported the stream that was doing inappropriate things. I should not say that. I reported the stream. Shut up. That's all of you said. That stupid band form. In fact, yeah, that's dumb. Yeah, Richard, no, Google. Yeah. I'll look it up. Hold on. A magnetic monopole as a hypothetical elementary particle that acts as an isolated magnet with only a north or south pole, monopole. Right? Like I said, so you said no. I was correct. While standard magnets always have two poles, dipoles, standard magnets have two. Monopoles are predicted by grand unified theories and Dirac's quantization theory. No experimental evidence has been found. I used to look into this stuff like 10 years ago. Yeah, no, that would be the holy grail. The reason magnetic motors can't be perpetual motion machines is because when you have a pole pushing a motor around, like North Pole to North Pole, the South Pole of the motors always drags a little bit. So if you had just the North Pole and just the South Pole, that wouldn't have opposing, then it would just go forever and ever and ever. So the search for the magnetic or the monopole particle has been around since magnetism's been around. Holy, unfortunately, a lot of streams are like that because for some reason the adult content science aren't enough for these people to need to grab. Yep, that's exactly right. Monopoly particles, that's a tax. But monopole particle enabled to have a generator that can work for decades. Yes, right, yes. If you could, exactly like I said, if you had a monopole, if you could take a monopole particle and put a whole bunch of them together to get a monopole magnet, that's what you would do. Like any other magnetic particle has two poles, north and a south. If you have a monopole that only had one, and like you had just north, and then you had a rotor that you made out of just south monopoles, then one would push the other in one way. The problem is with magnetics is it pushes, then it goes and the north and the south link back up. More specific monopole, right? Material, right? Triple pole particles. Yeah, that don't happen. Dora. Hola, soy Dora. Tu madre se loca. Yes, but this is theoretical, and it works in math. But it doesn't work in reality because we don't have anything that's monopole. But yeah, and we don't. I don't even think. I mean, unless anything come out in the past couple of years. So this was 1931 when they came up with this math. 1931. Where am I at? Yeah, 1931. Large Hadron Collider has been looking for it, despite extensive efforts at the Large Hadron Collider. So the Large Hadron Collider cost billions and billions of dollars to make. They were hoping they could find a magnetic monopole. If they could find that, then every single generator in the world would have been remade with these whatever materials it would have found if it could have been made into a mass production. And if it would have been found, the Large Hadron Collider would have went from being a sensor to being to a generator. It would have been creating these materials, and then we could have the stuff that runs until the magnetic moment dies, which is as the power runs out. But yeah, so yeah, that would be, you would only have to refuel the generator when the magnetic energy ran out. There's my theory in balance, 90% mono. Right, but we don't even have 1% or 0.00001% yet. But yes, I understand. Guess who's back? Back again. The Shady's back. Tell a friend. What up, Bosnian Squidward? Femipole particles. That's hot. That's hot. I died because I found something. I dig. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting for magnetism to get west and east pole. That's right. They're so racist. He's back. Okay, so yeah, large hadron. This is why it would do it right here. Significance. Their discovery would revolutionize physics, proving the symmetry between electricity and magnetism, supporting the theories. But and this is one of the big things why we don't know why we can't find it. It makes sense that it should be there, but we can't find it, right? And think about the amount of money that would be into, if you found it, you probably wouldn't live to tomorrow. The oil companies, the generator companies would put a bullet in you. Guess who's back? Magnets, Lens law, balance. What defeats it? Imbalance. Here's a super shielding magnet, 100% monopole, but 70% monopole. I need advice. How do you do that? How do you? If you have to start with a magnet, right? A dipole, and then you'd have to reduce the magnetism in just one pole. But the problem is, it can't just like cut part of a magnet off, because the thing is about magnetism, then it just automatically resets. Like if you have a magnet, North Pole and South Pole, when you cut it in the middle, now you've got North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole. Like even where you cut through, the area that you cut through is now becomes a north and a south. They reconfigure molecularly inside the solid material. It doesn't make any sense to us, but Richard's along saying, hi everyone, hi man. The creator left. So yes, that's one of the big things. A lot of people back in the 30s used to think that that's what God was. God was magnetism. Like the reason that doesn't work, the reason that things came together without gravity, like that's the thing that worked. And then we went away from God for 50 years, almost 100 years, and people are trying to find other ways. And then we have these things like dark matter that appears to be kind of like monopole, like only repelling, that only helps, like the dark matter that helps push things apart, because gravity should be bringing things together, right? But the black dark matter, it's pushing them apart, like if it was a monopole. And that's one of the theories of what it is. But you can't go into outer space and grab a scoop and test it back at home. The lab. Bosnia, that was Sarajevo for a month ago. Amazing. Best food on the planet, Borshell says. We have North and South poles that physics can't touch either one without a few bones breaking. That's right. If you don't cut a magnet, you shield one side, but the shielded side will be attracted, the other side will be 100%. No. You can't shield it because you can't cut through it. If you've got a magnet, North Pole and South Pole, and you want to shield this, you'd put a shield around it. But that doesn't shield anything, because this is still the South Pole and this is still a North Pole. You would have to cut through the magnet to stop the shielding. And if you used magnetic lensing, you just make the magnet stronger. And if you just shielded this and made this one stronger, this side automatically gets stronger too. And that's the crazy thing about magnets. You cut it along the way. You can try that. Yeah, give it a try. So you go, all right, brother. I swear my closet is hoarded dark matter. All right, what's Julio got here? You got dark matter in your closet, Catra? Oh, come on.
I'm in America's dumbest town. Name one book.
Well, I'm talking about just name a book.
Just name any book.
Just name a book or something? Yeah. Any kind of book?
Any book literally to ever exist.
You're gonna be all right. I can't even get a wild guess. I really just don't know. I just can't.
So you went to college?
Yes, sir. I went here in Jackson. Then I went to Harvard.
You went to Harvard?
Yes, sir.
How many sides are on a triangle?
Oh, man, you just five.
It's
Five.
What is 14 times 5?
200?
It's 70. What continent has the least amount of people?
Maybe the East?
I'm in America's dumbest town. Name.
Oh, that was pretty bad. If I cut a magnet, I'm a genius. If you can cut a magnet without affecting the polarity, yes, you would be you would instantly be the richest man / woman on the planet. Instantly. Before you could type into the internet, I did it, people would be shoving billions of dollars or bullets through your window. What if we used a magnet to cut a magnet? And the problem is the magnet isn't in the magnet. The magnet is outside of the magnet. The magnetic flux lines. This is why it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. The magnet isn't in the magnet. The field is outside of the material. What does God think about materialism like guitars, PlayStation, router, table saw? What does he think about it? Well, materialism's one thing. That's like, it's not bad to own things. It's not bad to buy things and have friends and companies that build stuff. Greed is the big thing. When greed starts to hurt people, that's when it goes too far. But yeah, absolutely. You can, but you shouldn't treat them like gods, like your PlayStation. You shouldn't be like, if PlayStation didn't exist, I'm gonna leave the planet. Like you shouldn't love them more than your parents. How are magnets made? So depends, but you can dig up magnetic material. Magnetite is a magnetite. You can get it out of sand. It's an element, not an element. It's a mineral. Mineral? Hold on. What is magnetite? It's a mineral. Yeah, mineral. Hold on. Magnetite. Highly magnetic black iron oxide mineral. Magnetite. Iron oxide 3. Black iron oxide. So that's a magnet straight out of the ground, like a rock, also known as lodestone. But an experiment showed that what I said, not balanced on it, usually needs. Right, but how much energy do you need to do that? How much energy do you have to, if you had a bunch of electromagnets around a magnet to shield one end of the magnet, you're using way more energy to shield one end to boost the other end. The efficiency comes into play, right? So you might be able to do that, but it costs so much more power to change that, because like I said, so if you had a magnet and you got a bunch of electromagnets surrounding it and using 1,000 watts of electricity to make a huge 0.38 Tesla magnet to change that. Now it's this big and it uses thousands of watts, and you will only get 100 watts out of your generator, so the efficiency falls to crap. But I see what you're saying. But try it, do it, try to make it happen. Money and bullets. Either travel second dimension, get to one pole magnet. That's all you need to do. Even simple damn speakers have these magnetic shielding or flux guiding. Right. But that makes the whole magnet weaker, the whole north and south pole. Because you're taking the magnet and you're putting shielding around the whole thing, or the speaker, and you're stopping the north and the south pole, not just one pole. Electromagnets, right? So it would be possible to do, but you can't get energy out of it, right? You have to use a lot of energy to deflect the north or the south pole. And yeah, magnetite sounds like a Pokemon. Maybe we use a complex science, obviously. So I'm here and I just have to use my magnetic personality. All right, now I forgot what it is. Okay, so magnets. So then what you can do is you can make electromagnets, copper coils around iron to make electromagnets. And then you can make like the way neodymiums are made. When you make them, they're not magnetic. And then you have to magnetize them. Well, let's just watch a video on that. Making neodymium magnets.
ஹாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், ரீசெண்டாக எங்களோட கஸ்டமர் கொடுத்த என்கொயரிக்காக வேர்ல்டு ஸ்ட்ராங்கஸ்ட் மேக்னெட்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய நியோடியம்
if you're trying to shield the whole thing, you have to surround it. But the problem is, if you want to use it in a generator, you don't have the room. You've got to be able to get the magnets very close together to push apart from each other. So if you want this end to not be as powerful as this end, you've got to put shielding and stuff around this. But then you've got, like, how's the motor going to spin? And that's just one. You would need, at least 12 to do 3-phase 4 poles. I lie all the time. Yogi lies all the time. What up,
மேக்னெட் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் பிளான்ட்டுக்கு தான் வந்திருக்கிறேன். இங்கே கான்ஃபியோட ஜாப் என்ன பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, எங்களோட கஸ்டமருக்கு தேவையான ப்ராடக்ட்டோட குவாலிட்டியை செக் பண்ணுறது, இந்த மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் பிளான்ட்டோட டோட்டல் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் கெப்பாசிட்டி என்ன, இந்த ஃபேக்ட்ரியோட ப்ரொஃபைல் அண்ட் இவங்களோட ரா மெட்டீரியல்.
Do you see that? That's a big thing full of future neodymium magnets. They're not sticking together yet.
ஸ்டோரேஜ் கெப்பாசிட்டி என்ன, இதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் ஜென்ரேட் பண்ணி எங்களுக்கான
I gotta find one in English. Okay, here you go.
You may be familiar with magnets, but do you know how it's made?
So none of those are sticking together right now. They're not magnetic yet.
Before magnetization,
All right, you see this big ass magnet there? He's putting it in. Look how big that electromagnet is. Look how big, and then it's going to power the hell out of it. North is up,
magnetization completed.
and now they're all stuck together. Look at that.
Now they're magnets.
And
You may be familiar with magnets, but do you know how it's
He
made?
didn't have to say, "Hey, this way's up, this way's down, this way's north, this way's south," and he put a big can around it, and that's yeah. I might be wrong. I don't know. Thanks for the advice. However, be a monopole. What would be if monopoles existed free? Yes, dude. If monopoles existed, it would be free energy, because no matter how much energy it took you to make the monopole, you could then make a generator that just spins forever, and it would make you free power. Absolutely. The problem is with magnetic motors that people try to make in their home to make a magnetic motor, is that when one pole passes, it's got to be north pulling towards south. And then as soon as it passes, the south and the south, north pulling towards south, and then as they pass each other, they go, because now they're going to equalize, right? So, but if they were monopoles, it wouldn't. It would just keep pulling towards north, because there would be no south. So yeah, it would just keep pulling and spinning and spinning and spinning and revving up, and then you put a load on it, add more magnets to it, depending on the load. Yeah, if you could get a monopole, if you could do that, the only thing you'd have to worry about is bullets. Because you would revolutionize the entire world. You would give basically free power to anybody. So if you figured out a way to use electricity to make a monopole, then you could just buy the generator that you need, $50. Make one, make 50 of them, then you would make a generator, and then that generator that you made that runs forever would make the electricity to make more monopoles, and then you could just start pumping them out by the billions. In magnetism, it's all about equality. Magnets are woke. That's right, and that's the problem. They don't realize there was a problem there with themselves. No, if it was north to north, it would be stuck. It needed to be in balance, not balanced. Magnets normally balanced. Right, I'm talking about when you have a pair. You have north-south pair. In a motor, you've got a magnet. You want the opposites to attract. North and south attract. So you have a north pole here and a south pole, and they're pulling towards each other. But then once they pass, then the south pole is over here, and the south line up, and they go boom. I mean, you'd have to. When we think about magnets, before we do the experiments, we don't think about how they equalize out when the north and the south. When the North Pole passes the North Pole, there's a South Pole right here. So then they end up. Yeah. Yeah, you get. Yeah. So right, if So since 1931, and like I said, the Large Hadron Collider, no matter what the propaganda was, there was two things they wanted to do. They wanted to find the God particle, and they wanted to find a magnetic monopole. If they found the monopole and they found the God particle, which was the Higgs boson, that's the stuff that doesn't make any sense, like in physics. And once they found that out, they're like, okay, cool. Now all we need to do is find out what now dark matter is, but which is why the universe is still flying apart. Maybe it's how the universe started. Who knows? Maybe they had monopoles, right? Yeah. How would a world be? How would world be like that if it was discovered? So power would be free. There would be no company, no power companies anymore. You would be the power company. You would sell everybody a generator that they just sit in their home and they plug stuff into, and it runs their entire house. And then every 10 years you got to replace the monopoles. Maybe you could just flash a capacitor bank and however your monopoles are made, and it could be yeah, that's it. Yeah, but everything that uses oil and solar panels, all that would be worthless. All those billions and trillions of dollars worth of companies would turn to zero overnight. We'd become right. We'd all be a class 1 society. Right. We'd be a 0.999999. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's watch that again. That was pretty cool.
You may be familiar with magnets, but do you know how it's made?
So the neodymium formula, they take the three metals and they melt them down and they cast them into those bits, and then
For magnetization.
then look at the size of this freaking magnet. Look at the size of this magnet they put it in. Look how big that thing is, and nothing's magnetic. They put the big ass magnet around it, then they turn power on.
Magnetization completed. Now they're magnets.
Yeah.
You may be
Now
familiar
they're
with magnets.
That's so friggin'. By the way, our existence is enough to prove believer in a higher complex power exists. Yeah, right. That's my point to everybody. How do you know we were created? Because we're here talking to each other. Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's all just magic. Right. The thing is, humans can do magic. We can't do creation, like we can't make life. And the big thing is, when you get out of biology and you get into chemistry, I've said this before, if you take a human cell and you put it in a petri dish and you could scan it and you say, this is how much of each chemical is in this petri dish. When the cell dies, what chemicals left that dish? And that's why we don't know anything about life. So they keep saying, mix this, and that together, and you'll get a cell. Okay, you might get a cell, but it's a dead cell. And the only way you can get a live cell is from something alive. So you can pull in a live cell out of your body, and you can put it in a petri dish, and you can say it's got this much sodium, this much potassium, and then when it dies, what left the dish? Nothing. All the same chemicals. Isn't a magnetizer just a big capacitor energy bead? Yes. It's just copper coils. Copper coils. That's all it is. Yep. And and they dump a big capacitor bank into it. You just measure your capacitor bank. You have to know how thick and how many turns you have, so you don't blow your coils up. You want to know how many joules is being put out of the capacitor bank. Right, that's all it is. That's all it is. You can make them at home, no problem. It's capacitor dumped into coils via EMF. Using an iron core, ferrite core. We have many small electromagnets, loop magnet capacitors that might die after years. Yes, they would definitely die. Yeah. They need to be recharged up. So as a magnet just sits there, it's getting weaker and weaker, just sitting there. But I mean, over time. Like, when you have magnets on your fridge, saying like, hey, John's Pizza, and then after a year or whatever, you're walking by and it just goes dunk and falls off. Well, why did that happen? The heat and the cooling, the air conditioning, the heat, it gets weaker over time. My keyboard is tiny. Yeah, but they die after years. Yeah, I mean, you might make it last 1,000 years if it just sat there. Like if you wanted to make a magnet, you can still say, yes, it's magnetic, but it's not as magnetic. And when you put them into motors, they heat up. Heat gets to the Curie point. The Curie point is the point where a piece of iron or ferrite or neodymium loses its magnetism. And we can watch a video on that too. The Curie point. Yeah, Curie. Wow. All right, let's see. I wanted to show something. Okay. And that's the problem when it comes to generators. Hold on. Why do you always want to use the copyrighted freaking music? Alright, so they just showed that it was magnetic. And then now, it's not magnetic anymore. And as it cools down, 800 degrees, 770. As soon as it's 770, it gets magnetic again. So they weren't heating a magnet there. They were just heating iron, and they put a magnet above it. So magnets don't get magnetic, or iron doesn't get magnetic till it cools down to 770 degrees. Watch that again. So you have a piece of iron, and you put a magnet over it, and it jumps right up at room temperature. Then you heat it up to cherry red, which is like 1100 degrees. There you go, cherry red. And then they put it in there. And then when you put the magnet over top, it's not magnetic. And then once it cools down to 770, it just jumps right up there. I got my old thinking putty open. I feel qualified in the grip of strength right now. That shit was sealed. Now it's open. It's me and Zach comment section right now. Yeah, Richard, do you remember the magnetic capacitor as it said the perpetual? Yes. I remember that. Yes. Yeah, I remember it. All these theories and ideas, imagination is infinite. That's right. Imagination is infinite. If you're not told you can't do it, you can do it. And that's something that's huge. The problem with education now is you have to understand that there's companies and corporations and whatnot that don't want competition. So they teach people how to work for those companies, not work against them. They don't want you to, so they if they come out with great new science that they create a company around, they're not going to teach you what they know. That's going to be a corporate secret. And this is a big problem. Like if you go to school right now, you're going to get a book, like a high school or college, you're going to get a book that was written in 2023, right? But stuff that came out today, you're not going to learn about in college because they're going to quiz you and give you exams on what was in that book. So like this guy from India earlier today, or yesterday, he said his physics, I think it was his physics or astronomy book, said that the universe was 20 billion years old because the book was written in like 1994. But there's been science since then that said the world is 13.8, or the universe is 13.8 billion years old. So he had a test, and if he would have wrote 13.8, he would have failed, even though he was right, because the exam is not based on the truth. The exam is based on the book that the exam is written after. So if the book says Richard's got brown eyes and brown hair, and then 30 years later, Richard's got gray eyes and gray hair, and it says, what color are Richard's eyes on the exam? You put gray, and they write wrong. Because the book said that Richard's eyes were brown in 2026. Do you understand? So you're not learning the truth. You're learning the book. Using my imagination to make glittery putty. Jesus, girl. Freaking wackadoos. Yeah, but that's a big thing that you've got to know about education. You've got to know that you're not being taught the truth. You're being taught the book. What was possibly true or accepted as true at one time. My humor is broken. Yes, I know your humor is broken, you freaking wackadoodle. I'm gonna make a pyramid. A human pyramid. Let me see if I can find another one here. physics fun. But this is cool. This is cool stuff. So, like, if you could find a magnet that could work at higher temperatures, that means that, like, if you could find magnets that work at higher temperatures with however you can figure it out, you got to figure it out. I don't know. Then motors would be able to run faster and hotter, which means you could get more power out of them. Like, you can only use an electric motor and a generator until it gets to 771 degrees. Then the iron is no longer magnetic, so it doesn't matter. The magnetic fields are like, I ain't got nothing to push against anymore. And that's the thing that's so interesting. Only the temperature changes. The chemistry is the same. The iron is iron. It's just hot iron, but it's not magnetic anymore. Why? The chemistry is the same, right? That's what's so crazy about it. All right, so that's it, caught in a magnetic field. And you see it bouncing back and forth. That's between the North and the South poles. Do you recall the last time you used a pacifier? And then once it gets to 770, 772, it just, gone. No longer magnetic. Richard, by the way, if it was possible monopoles, how much time would it take companies to be gone and humanity to advance and not be so evil? Well, the problem is, would you not be evil? If you invented it, would you all of a sudden get all the power in the world? Would you want to be like, no, I want to be super rich. Everybody's got to pay me. I'm not going to tell anybody how I made it. I'm going to get rich off of it and screw everybody. Then you become the bad person, right? And that's the problem. People go out and researching things to help the world, but then they get power. The power. Now they know everyone in the world has to use your technology. They're going to look at you like you're God. And then how are you going to be able to handle that? And that's the problem. That's when people turn bad. And you can say, hey, it's $1 million. It's $1 million. I don't care if you're starving to death. There's other people that aren't. There's other people that have the money. Like why would you give it away for free when you can sell it and be a quadrillionaire? Like, so, but it would take, if you could make monopoles, like regular size magnets, monopoles, like today, like one a day. I mean, and as soon as you sold enough of those to get enough money to start mass producing them, it would be months. But the problem is, what would happen is Exxon would come to you and be like, here's $2 trillion, sign over your rights. Then they would take it, they would close all the colleges, they wouldn't let colleges teach how to make monopoles because it's too much, because they would now do what's called market manipulation. They would make sure nobody knows about it. They would have Hollywood make movies about kids trying to make monopoles and being blown up and their faces being blown off. So now kids are scared of monopoles. They would make it like, monopoles destroyed my sex life. I can't get an erection. My butt is bloody. And they would start a scare tactic to make people not want to experiment with it. That's how propaganda works. And then they would take your invention and they would profit off of it. It's crazy. Make an octopus leg. Freaking Brianna. I know that's what you're talking about. Nobel Prize. TNT. That's exactly right. Yes. No, nitroglycerin. Yes, dynamite. Was it TNT or dynamite? I think it was dynamite. Nobel Prize, TNT or dynamite? Not Price. Oh, great. Nobel Prize. Dynamite. And listen, dynamite changed the world so much that he made so much money in the 1870s that now people still get $1 million for each Nobel Prize that's given out. He made so much money. I did it. Hey, there you go. Oh, hey, PN, there you go. Got it fixed. Well, what if you travel to the future? Because it's possible via physics. Drive what I forgot. Well, but you can't go back to the past. And actually, we're going to the future right now. We're all traveling to the future. It's just the very near future. But yeah, I mean, I like where I'm at. I sent you a tank. I want to send you a Tank 3 Pro. Let's do it. I'll play with it. Monopoles destroyed my Yeah, she's funny. My phone would be at 81%, lasts for 12 hours. I love that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll check it out. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you got. I think you got my address. Or I'll send it to you. Whatever you need. So much that they're so calm, so dynamite. So this is the interesting thing. There's cures for cancer. There's audio cures for cancers where they play. I think it's called the Reed. What's it called? Frequencies said to cure cancer. Let's see what it says. Frequency bioresonance. It says long debunked, right? Long debunked. That's what's so fun. This is what I'm talking about. They say long debunked, all permanent, 2 legitimate FDA approved and experimental technologies. So most people be like, oh, it's been debunked. By traveling far future to seek possibility of traveling back in time to fix the future. Yeah, that's the you can't. So it's called the killing your grandfather paradox, where if you go back in time and kill your grandfather, you never would have been there to go back in time in the first place because you never would have been born, right? And we don't know anything about time. We know how to measure it. We don't know anything about magnetism. We know how to measurement. We don't know. Listen, we don't know a lot. Think about the people that aren't even willing to get to the point to say, like, you have such closed-minded scientists now that, I need to think more open. Me? What are you talking about? Okay, the Rife machines. Rife, R-I-F-E. Rife machines. All right, look at this. This is so crazy. Where is it? Why is it on Facebook? That needs to be.
Here's the difference between the old Rife machine and the new Rife machine. The crazy leap from the huge old school machine to sleek pocket-sized gadgets. These old Rife machines were no joke. You would see these huge gadgets. And it was quite stressful to use. You have to dial in the frequencies one at a time. You'd have to stand there, turning knobs to get the right frequency. Say you're trying to tackle something specific, let's say intestinal inflammation or for diabetes or something. You'd need like 10 frequencies. So you'd have to start flipping switches,
right, so now it's
in
digital.
one
What up,
frequency
hey,
at a time,
Jizzle?
and then just sitting there
see
for
you
a few
again.
minutes
Still a great
before you
energy.
have to
Hey,
do it all
Barbara,
over
how
again
are
for
you,
the
girl?
next one.
All right, are you going to
literally
show it or not? So you have these two things that hold in your hands. I don't know what this is here.
Not the alternative because natural came first. The conventional way is real medicine.
Yeah, so red light therapy is something you guys should definitely look into. But this uses red light at particular frequencies and sounds. So if you know the different frequency that you can boil these different fluids at, and you know the frequency, this is just how they say it works. I don't know whether it works or not. This is the theory. Then you know what frequency a tumor vibrates at. If you vibrate it enough till the tumor heats up and cooks itself, I mean, that's basically what radiation does, but it uses radiation to cook a tumor. You've been always so close-minded. I know, I was about to say. Pyramid genuinely so hard to make with putty. You think so? Okay. Oh, but you did it though. Okay. Search plasma channel riff. I'm sure he made a video about it. About what? Red light, green light. Dude, I'm open-minded. Listen, my paths have already been where you are. And I've come to conclusions about things. I'm not closed-minded about, but you have to understand, when you ask me about time travel, even if it was available, I wouldn't do it. And so it's not, you have to find a team member that's interested in time travel. I can be a team member in other forms of science, but that's not where I would put my brain power. You want me to be your what do you call it? I can't remember the term. guru of all things science. But yeah, like, more people than just me exist, you know? Okay, what am I looking at? You talking about on YouTube? Oops, wrong thing. Hey, there's that guy again. All right, what are we looking up? Red light, green light?
You're a builder, a maker, an opportunity taker, and Excel.
And what am I said? Red light, green light therapy. Yeah. Oh yeah. Red light therapy is great. Absolutely. I have my family uses it. My mother and my father. I know open frequency. I sent a pic or didn't happen. There you go. Send a pic. Send it to the Discord. I'm pulling your leg. Okay. Yeet. If I time travel, Jeff Goldblum, The Fly. Great movie. No, I'm sorry. I was trying to pull your leg. I guess it worked. Yes, it worked. All right. Let's see. Brianna, the joke is that it didn't happen. I'm an ace. Yeah, she's working on it. Okay. What am I looking at? You said what? Okay. What was I looking? What was I looking about? Oh, you said time travel, plasma energy, a violet ray. Okay. Violet ray. Yeah, this is what we were just looking at. That was the Rife.
It's the year 1920. You're in your Ford
That's
Model
what you
T
just saw in
listening to
that
the first
person's
commercial
chest
radio
video
station
we just watched.
and headed home from an epic jazz hall. You had as much fun as this guy. But all that jazzery, it's left your knees kind of hurting. Luckily, you've got just the solution at home. It's called the Violet Wand. This thing cures everything.
Yeah, this is
from baldness
old
to
technology,
asthma.
yeah.
All you do is you turn it on, bring it towards your knee, give it a little rub, and ow! What the? Nope, hard pass.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware. Do you,
Hey, it's
do
Jay.
you know
This is
that
Plasma.
that used to be Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man, and the feminists got all pissed off and they had to change the lyrics? I promise you, Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man. That was the line until like the 1990s, the late 90s. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, we'll go right back to it, brother. I like associating the letter Z with sleeping. Sawing logs. Okay. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, man. Look, so bam. Look. Ace is the place for hardware. Later updated to helpful hardware folks. First popular in the 70s and 80s. The jingle highlights the commands, the purple eyes, yada, yada, yada. Here's the 1976 commercial. Modern jingle. There, I don't know if you can, okay, I'll just zoom in here. Modern jingle right there. Helpful hardware man, helpful hardware folks. This is, when they started doing this, they knew, hey, we can change people, you know, women or something too. Yes. And when they said man, they meant man as in like humans, as in like humanity. Will that give me a higher income? Yep. Don't call out of work and don't wreck your car. Tesla coal-based relay oscillator, glass tube plasma. Theory I can heal too. Plasma has also a video about cold plasma too. Yeah, this guy looks pretty good. I've definitely seen this guy's I've definitely seen this guy's channel many times, like come through my my feed. But you know one of the big things I like, folks. Sounds like a vowel hits me right. I can't explain it. It's not political. It's freaking political. All right, I just breathed my own hair in. Oh, where was I at?
Channel. And this is the real deal. 50,000 volts in the palm of your hand that we used to believe had magical healing properties. So grab your violet wand because we're going to take a look at what's inside these things, how the heck they work, and how they help define the roaring 20s.
The 20s.
What's so cool about these devices is they represent a time when electricity was exciting and new. People hadn't really heard of something like this before, and high voltage was just a curiosity.
Right.
They came with...
There's a problem where kids today think people are just smart because it's the 2000s. Dude, people invented what we have now with paper and pencil, without computers. Computers used to be people, women. Women are better at math and minutia than men were. Women were used in the industry for years. Women, if you look up what computers were, they were women because they were good at doing math. But I thought women weren't allowed to go to school till 1960 because you're stupid. I have to cook one server tonight. There must be something going on there. I thought nobody'd be coming in. Man, I guess you got real cancel this.
Various glass electrodes of different shapes, all for different purposes.
Where'd that go?
And they lit up with brightly colored plasmas. Just look at this one in particular. They were and still are quite the spectacle. For these reasons, it was easily marketed as the end-all cure for dozens of illnesses.
Right. Same
Curing
marketing.
asthma and baldness was honestly just the beginning. It treated anemia, bronchitis, bruises, deafness, toothaches,
No
split
way.
sprains,
Please
the
tell
list
me
goes
that's
on.
true.
In reality, it did serve
Please
some
tell
medical
me that.
purposes, but in general was considered a medical quack device from the 1920s. Now, it also is interchangeable with the violet ray, which, guess what? That was invented by Nikola Tesla himself. So that kind of makes this sort of like the spoiled grandchild of the Tesla coil, you know? Now, I have two violet wands here, an original from 1920, which you've already seen, and a modern one from 1990. Those of you with a keen eye might notice they haven't changed much. The
Why
older
would
violet
they?
wand was donated by my father, and
so
it came in this
the
really
mirror's
sick
90
antique
bucks
case,
replaced, not that
complete
bad.
with
Okay, that's not
analog
bad.
on-off
Could you
switches
make
and an
one
adjustable
cat
power
asking
knob in
for
the
a
middle.
friend?
And there was a lot of brass throughout this, which helped to date the thing.
It
also came with a...
Hey, Katra, you see, this is how businesses get started. What do you think? She wants a pyramid. She already gave you her order.
Spare violet wand that was more incorporated with the kit, and the lid can hold about a dozen electrodes. Couple that with the fact that this is made in USA in Detroit back in 1920, and it's from Renew Life. This is
we think we got smarter. We got dumber and convinced that we got smarter. We got convinced that we're so smart we don't need to be in factories anymore. Slaves overseas can make all of our stuff. No. We got dumb. She wants a pyramid. Keep tapping that button.
Legit antique.
Get
As
that
for the new
zap.
one, it was actually donated by a viewer. So Ed, I hope you're watching. Thank you very much. But let's think about what these things are. They take a wall voltage and boost it up to 30, 40, 50,000 volts, all in a handheld package. That's pretty advanced for the 1920s. So how exactly is this supposed to be used? Well, first you select the electrode for your specific ailment. There were some for general application, others for combing through the hair, and there were some for healing your butt.
Yep.
After inserting the electrode into the wand, you would apply the electricity directly to the affected area of your body. I actually have a chronic wrist issue, so, ow, not again. I should note that the majority of the time, these are designed to be used with the glass electrodes because the glass itself actually limits the power of the sparks.
Right, acts as
Otherwise,
a resistor.
the sparks these
I
things
don't
make...
think you want putty down there. Let's stand it there. No, I'm 5 feet 5, I'm 700 feet tall.
You have to admit, though, these things are
700-foot
pretty
pyramid hiding
biblical.
body?
But just wait till you see the inside of this 100-year-old antique. I mean, it essentially is a time capsule that speaks volumes for the production
And
standards.
wait till you already seen the inside side. I guess you've already seen this, but it's going to be an LC circuit.
Production qualities
It's going to
from
be an
100
inductor
years ago.
capacitor.
So let's take a look inside an original violet wand. The casing is
There
old
you go.
Bakelite
A
plastic,
capacitor
and the
and a coil.
construction, I mean, it's incredible. These windings held together with thread and paper, a coil of wire insulated with nothing but cloth, and this is beeswax, likely used to insulate from high voltages.
Right.
More wax is soaked into these windings.
Beeswax. What did they do? They said, well, we're going to make a chemical replacement for beeswax, and it doesn't work as good in a lot of cases, but they wanted to be able to patent things. This is why we pay for, but you can make all this stuff yourself, but I don't have the complex chemistry inside of a capacitor. You can use beeswax.
Bindings, the thread, the layers of paper, and these wires are also insulated with that wax-soaked cloth as well. It comes complete with the classic mechanical power switch. As for how they worked, it's actually really cool.
She wants
They were
your number.
mechanically driven
You want your number.
transformers, meaning they relied on these little
We're
moving
not learning
parts
anything unless
called
we're watching
relays.
Brain Rot.
110 volts comes in and opens up the relay, which charges this capacitor. But the relay, it's designed to automatically close.
Right.
This dumps all the energy from the capacitor into this primary coil. Energy is then radiated underneath into the secondary coil, which has hundreds of times more turns. That turns the 110 volts into nearly 50,000. Wicked cool. And this cycle repeats dozens of times a second. Absolute time capsule. So that's a look inside of a 100-year-old medical antique.
And it's going to be
that
the same
helped
on the new
define
one.
the 1920s.
What's them digits,
As
girl?
for the modern one, I mean, it's just a flat
Brianna,
out.
you're on the Discord. Catch on the Discord also. I think we could have pyramid. Regular candle wax is a good isolation. No. Regular candle wax is already purified petroleum. It's flammable. Beeswax, you can make candles from that too, but beeswax contains a lot more compounds. Candle wax has all kinds of wackadoodle stuff in it, scents, fragrances, and whatnot. You can use it, but you don't have. It's for much lower currents and voltages. That's what you want. You want voltage protection, so you don't jump between them. How old are you? I don't usually date older. Right, candle wax every morning. Here it comes.
Awesome
How
power
old are
source
you,
to mess
girl?
around with. It makes 1-inch arcs onto pretty much anything I want. But do these work? Do they treat the asthma, the bronchitis, the other serious ailments they were claimed to treat back in the 20s? Well, since the high voltage is capacitively coupled through the glass, it can significantly warm your skin, causing vasodilation and increased blood flow. That can be healthy. However, there's limited evidence that these help with the more serious of ailments.
Let me run the door,
Now,
walk
due to the nice,
myself out.
gentle, warming action of violet wands, they tend to be found in adult stores.
There you go.
You didn't see that one coming. So if you ever see one of these at an antique shop, just remember how these represent an era. It was the grandchild of the Tesla coil put to everyday use. I had a lot of fun shooting this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments
I thought he was
down
going to
below.
open up the new one. I've had much worse, by the way. Did you send me something? No, you didn't. Okay. All right. $5 years ago. Is this guy still posting? Hope 1.12 million subscribers. I hope he still is. 18 to 9. Smarticus. 2 months ago. Let's see. 3 weeks ago. Okay, he's still posting. Yeah, I saw this one too. This is a good idea. I think you brought this up too, Sack.
What's the easiest tool to manage my agreements?
Yes. So, Sack, the capacitor. You can use aluminum foil that you use that's all electrolytic capacitors are aluminum foil. So you can take a piece of aluminum foil, you can put a piece of wax paper down, and then a piece of aluminum foil. Just make sure that the aluminum foil is not touching, so the wax paper is bigger than the aluminum foil strip, and you can make your own capacitors at home. Absolutely, you don't need to buy this, everything. But no one looks into it. No one says, how do I make? They say, how do I buy? How much do? What can I get it from? It's very easy. And when you roll it up and you measure the capacitance, say it's too low, then you can cut, or too high, or too whatever. You can just cut some off. Add another piece on, and you can perfectly tune your own capacitors. We'll do the math later. That's right. My husband wouldn't let me be with a girl. My birthday, but what up, Adam? Plans for cheesecake. You could ask me. Oh, jeez, girl. Same channel. Look at it. Electric microphone. I built my own electric microphone. I built my own. But yeah, you can make your own. Absolutely. Yeah, dude, yes. It's not nearly as hard as you think it is. But they don't tell us because they want us to just buy everything. You could have a working microphone in an hour. Buddy, I'll look it up. Erectorate. You freaking crazy ass girl. What up, Seth? You can do it!
Despite what it looks like, this is not a magnet. Actually, it's something much more exotic. And the invisible field it emits is easily seen using this 5x5 detector array. But what exactly is the grid detecting? This video is sponsored by Factor Meals. Thank God, because I can't cook. Magnets are underrated. Using an invisible Jedi magnetic force, these little objects attract ferrous material, and their attraction is permanent. It's honestly remarkable, but is there an equivalent for static electricity? You know, an object with a permanent static charge. Instead of attracting only ferrous materials, an object which can attract everything else. After spending the past month digging into studies, poring over manufacturing techniques, and formulating my own recipes, there is such a thing.
And this is the stuff that you should be studying. Material sciences. Do you recall your last
Let's get right to it. There are so many hidden gems of high voltage physics I've had my eyes open to.
I thought you were joking, Adam.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adam. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Adam. Happy birthday, Adam. Dogs are a chick magnet. Yep, absolutely. A cheesecake shall drown my sorrows. I came to seek your advice. Now you're learning. Right. That's how it works, Zach. That's right. I have gaps in my knowledge. Right. Absolutely. And so this is why when people try to teach me stuff that I've already spent decades on, I'm like, no. And you're like, I'm like, no, I already. But then when I don't know, and I want to learn it. I want to know everything. Absolutely. That's exactly how it works. Happy birthday, Adam, brother. Grazie. Guess what's inside of the gift? Just me as usual. And I ran so far away. Would you like to have some apples or bananas? And I walked the line. Open the gift.
Here's things from levitation,
no problem, Adam. Happy birthday, brother.
Nuclear fusion, to name a few. But electrorates.
Dude, listen. If it would probably be rude, but we should go through my DMs one day. I'd have to block out names and stuff.
They're in a class all of their own. Electrorates are materials which can retain a semi-permanent electric charge, much like how magnets hold a magnetic field.
That's it.
Whereas a magnet has a north and south pole, these have a negative and positive side, meaning they produce permanent static electric fields. And we're all familiar with what a static electric field feels like. Electrorates are really cool and have commercial uses I'll talk about later, but when it comes to the larger sizes, well, those are all experimental and you can't really buy them.
Right, because they're
millions
of volts.
I got to work researching how exactly they're made, and fundamentally, it's pretty easy. An insulating material is melted, then placed between two electrodes charged to several thousand volts DC. Power is applied the entire time it cools and hardens, leading to a reorganization of...
You've got to use DC because AC is constantly flipping, so you only end up with a neutral or slightly biased material. Right, so it's got to be DC.
Charges within the material.
DC.
That reorganizing comes in a few forms, the most common being molecules lined up in chains of positive to negative, leading to an overall mass of charged material with a positive and negative plate. That's very similar to how magnetizing an object works. As for what insulating material to use, it didn't take long to find the original recipe. Electrorates were first made in the 1800s, and Oliver Heaviside originally coined the term electret. But it wasn't until Motojiro Asano, a Japanese physicist, came up with the first repeatable formulation for electrorates in 1925, using carnauba wax, rosin, and beeswax. Those materials are easily available today, and I've got the high voltage, so how hard could it be? After a quick search, I found all the materials at local craft stores, and considering they'd be melted, they'd need an appropriate mold. Craft stores.
Carnauba wax, resin. I can't see what the second thing here is. It's probably beeswax. I don't know.
And considering they'd be melted, they'd need an appropriate mold. A cylinder shape seemed easiest, and it was a quick print with my Prusa. Once printed, I
Not
covered the
Prusa.
top and bottom of the assembly with aluminum foil tape,
Yeah, high
effectively
voltage.
creating
My
two
advice,
plates
no
to be
matter where you
electrified.
want, should have
For
one
high
of those.
voltage,
Yep.
I employed the custom flyback from my last video, which at full power produces upwards of 65 kilovolts. I dialed it back a bit and connected it to a voltage multiplier. This setup provided a clean 40,000 volts DC at low current, perfect for forming a large electret. Sick. I should have everything I need to make an electret. I've got the materials, the mold, and the super high voltage power source. This should be pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to get straight to melting the materials.
Yeah, and then while it's melted, and he's just using aluminum foil, just aluminum foil tape is his electrode, and he made a capacitor between the two. That's it. And anything else that's like 3D printer stuff, a piece of old toy, whatever. But yeah, aluminum foil is made. One of the main uses is to make aluminum foil capacitors, and yeah, you can make them yourself. You don't need to buy anything. I accidentally hit the like button. My bad.
So you can hear
jerk.
the really strong static hiss. That indicates a really strong static electric field. Just barely too strong for the setup.
Right.
But that's really good. It means this electret's probably going to turn out well. This corona is really beautiful, but it indicates the mold really couldn't handle the voltages
Right.
applied.
Too much.
While the wax was
You wanna
cooling
keep
under the
the
influence of
power
high
in
voltage,
each
I went on to
side.
tackle the
Speaking
next
of
obstacle,
which,
which
the girl was flirting
was
with
how
Texas,
am I
and
going to
the
test
like
if the wax has become an electret? And
Hold on.
if-
Why? Speaking of which, the girl I was flirting with texted me. I think my course of action will be to tell her that I like her and ask her for a date and to become exclusive. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I listen. I'm gonna tell you something. I wouldn't even worry about it. Honestly, listen. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm nervous though. I get scared. She's not. Listen, she wants to be in the streets. If she wanted you, she would have told you, and she wouldn't have went off with somebody else. She wants to be in the streets. You've got to learn this young before you get your heart broken over and over again and lose faith in the whole possibility of good relationships. This is the problem with young relationships, especially if she's already showed she's open for the field, and you're supposed to think, well, that's okay, girl power. No, that's not okay. And the thing is, you don't know who else she's already talking to, or you may know. And is those communications going to end? And if she says, okay, let's be exclusive, and then one day she doesn't answer your call, or you can't text her, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's where this is going to go. I don't like Discord. It's toxic. I'm just saying, do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, she's already shown you that she's ready to be out there. She's open to talk to you and make you believe that she likes you, and then start kissing on somebody else a day later. That's kind of not the kind of person I'd want to be in a relationship with. Make a way for Goofy Goob. What up, Goob? Ain't seen you in a while. How you been?
If so, how strong is the electric field? Well, I would need a static field detector, which those only take a couple of minutes to build. Quick and dirty, here's the static detector I'll be using for all my tests. You can see the LED on top is unlit. It only lights up in proximity to a positive static electric field. This is super sensitive, like it's annoyingly sensitive. So let's see what it can do. This is what I mean by sensitive. Here I pulled out my Van de Graaff and placed it over 2 meters away. So the generator is running, and I'm going to take my finger off so it builds up a charge. Boom! It took 1 second. Ooh.
I've been good schoolwork.
Okay,
All right,
oh, look
I
at
wish
that.
people
So,
understood shit like that.
as I point my finger at the
Listen,
generator...
They don't care. That's the problem. They don't care. They want to explore their sexuality with many people because, fear of missing out. And that's the problem. And the thing is, that's a problem. This is why exclusive relationships are so much better than non-exclusive. And the thing is, she can talk you into, well, we've been exclusive for a week now. How about James or Jenny? She keeps texting me. He keeps it. Yeah. Listen, this is why I got no problem. I'm not even in the freaking park. I'm not like, I got things I got to do. Yeah, it gets to all this. Do you recall why static electricity makes your hair stand up? It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. I know she cares. I'll probably pull back until I understand if she asks. I mean, I don't know what kind of conversations you're having with her, but if she's still in other people's bedrooms, don't expect her to all of a sudden give that up. The basis of relationship couldn't come with questions. Yeah, right. She clearly doesn't care enough to only be flirting with me. Right. Listen, I'll tell you what it's like when you like somebody. Your whole attention, it's like this. I can't see anybody else. I don't even know. I set my phone ringing. I don't know. I don't care. What's going on? Why hasn't Katra called me back? Why is he? I hope she likes me. That's how it is. Not, Katra and 75 other people and whatever, and I can keep just passing out cards and yeah, that's what you're experiencing. And the reason is she's willing to fiddle with anybody, and to you, it feels like she wants to fiddle with you. Which is true, but you're just one of many. You know better. Look, I don't even know her. And I'm telling you, just off of two simple actions, people are it's not that complicated. We overcomplicate it to make ourselves believe bullcrap.
It loses charge.
Small particles, babe. I'll fight her for you.
And the detector indicates
I'm barely learning anything.
how far out the static field is going.
That's
That's so crazy.
That's okay, Goofy Goob. Hey, look, learn it online. That's what we're here for. Anything you're interested in learning, I'm interested in teaching. You want to see a super wand? Sure. We learn by doing. All right, ma'am. Someone clip Richard. What way you heard me to call it back? Joe Dierte. All right, let's watch this. Let's see what happens.
Now, why would pointing at the Van de Graaff turn off the detector? The answer is as beautiful as it is simple. If you think you know, leave your answer in the comments down below. So after an hour or so, the wax had cooled, and I was thrilled to test out my new static object. Okay, so here's the electret. If I made this correctly, there should be a permanent static field. Let's see what it does. Nothing yet.
Wrong side.
Nothing?
He knew what he was doing. What?
It was at this moment that I realized that this would be a journey. So a bit of reading later, and I was encouraged to try again, but this time with the conductive plates facing inward in contact with the molten wax.
So he had too much capacitance putting the plastic on the outs, between. He should have had the metal touching it. And the problem was the corona was jumping over, the electric field was jumping over to both plates, which neutralizes it. So if they were going through the wax by actually touching it, and that's what you'll see in a second. I've never seen this before, but I can guarantee because I've done this.
A quick redesign and print, and I felt really confident that this would do the trick. Whereas the last ones had foil on the outside, these,
that's a piece of cake. Richard,
well, these have foil on the inside. Another dose of measuring, melting, stirring, and pouring, and it was time for round 2. Quick note, don't bend down and stare into a wax mold. I legit splashed wax on my face doing this. Round 2. Oh, hello there. Okay, so we've got like a very, very weak static electric field. Of an electret, strength of electric field during cooling, and material choice. The more electrically resistive a material is and prone to polarization during molten state, the better that material is for electrets.
All right, what are we watching? Do you recall your last super freak? It's a super freak. Wait till she finds out she can't weld these hands down from her face. Oh my goodness. What up, Georgia? She's also very skilled with a knife. Yeah, don't hang out with people like that. I'm going to make an AI of you eat dirt. What? Y'all need to get violent. He'll care about her as a friend. Listen, I understand. Give it 10 years and you'll wish she was never a friend. Listen, people are the only currency they have. Your body is the only currency you have. And if you treat it like you're told to treat it, you lose that value. It's not man, woman, woman, man. It's you're on this earth to make personal relationships. People that spread that thin, it's weaker between each person. And it's a very, very tender strand that's easy to break because there's no depth. People that create stuff together have bonds. Like, that's why family works. We've created a child. Yes, sometimes it doesn't work, but most times it does. When you have somebody that's already committed to you. That's why the whole marry before you carry thing. Google this: how to make an electric wand. Join the technicians. I really need to get a job. Yeah, you'll get a job. Don't worry. It'll happen. Now I'm messing around. I don't know if welders or knife experts. I don't know if well, she's really into gardening and wants to live off the land, skill with the knife. Not that she's violent. What up, Sir Jacob? I'm afraid to get married. Well, yeah, you probably would. Okay, so what am I doing now? You said search for, click the magic wand, join the technicians, click update. Oh, okay. Are you talking about YouTube?
In this video, I'll show you how to make a real working magic wand using the principles of engineering and technology. So get comfortable and join the technicians as we explore the real magic of science.
Right, it's not. Marriage isn't scary with the right person. The problem is we open our sexual bank up to anybody that wants to make a deposit. I can't believe I just said that. And that's a big problem. We're told we're less valuable than we are. So then we spread it thin because we don't realize what's going on. But it's all crap. Listen, you're being advertised to by every angle to do things to stay single. That's the truth. And you've got to understand, get around that. People that are going to waste your time, and when you end up not listening to me and you end up dating her and she breaks your heart and you be like, Richard, you're all right. I'll be like, I know. And then you never again. Richard, she got me back. Okay, stay away from her. We decided to give it one more shot. We have people who made the lightsaber. That's bad. What up, Derek? Did you know Bruno Mars does not live on Mars? Somebody better send a very strongly worded email to Mars. Recall, most girls have multiple people chasing them and it makes their ego really high. Right. When she was in a room with you, she wanted to make sure that you liked her. When she was in a room with somebody else, she wanted to make sure that they liked her. When she's in a room with someone else, she'll want to make sure that they like her. And that's where you're heading. No, I have Mithergene. Then I tried the special vitamins, allow me to absorb it properly. Did we go over that, Jacob, the other day? Did I tell you about Toxoplasmosis gondii? Sorry. So let me show you this, brother. Look, it's already right here because I searched for it before. Research, let me zoom in here for you. Research interaction between latent Toxoplasmosis gondii infection and the MTHFR gene polymorphism, particularly regarding cognitive function and folate metabolism, both factors affect the folate cycle. Co-occurrence causes effect. So the problem is you have that gene, and if you have a parasite, do you have cats, Jacob? Or have you been around cats and cat poop? Richard, who says, I'm not going to listen to you. My jokes aren't even funny. That's fine. I like your jokes. Yes, it's good. Okay. Jesus. Yes, right. So if you got cats, you've got the mother or gene, so you probably have Toxoplasmosis gondii. 80% of all cat owners do. Okay. And the other 20% will. So, like, I use a product called Paragard and not Zoller Paragard, which is an anti-parasitic, and you should consider looking into it for your MTHFR gene issue. Because remember, you need something to express that gene to have that issue, and usually that can be Toxoplasmosis gondii. The reason that they tell women not to change kitty litter when they're pregnant is because of this parasite. Goofy Goob, I got a joke for you. What do you believe of the fish with no eyes? Ground beef, dude. Reckon you're You're going to the other end of comedy, dude. I mean, no, yeah, I like the jokes. Let's see the cool one. Hold on. Why did the rice say to the salmon, "This should be sushi"? Super dangerous.
Not Leviosa.
Recalling to the mind, but recalling's bad for the mind. What do you call Richard with no eye? Richard. My cat's out there though. I got her when she was a stray kitten, so she overdreams. And does she lick you? Listen. You take my advice or not. I'm just giving you the information.
Here's some.
If you've been checked for a gene abnormality or this gene, and they didn't say to you, we should also check you for parasites, and you have a cat that probably plays with other cats and poops in the ground and needs the poop in the ground, and it's not going to be a big worm. These things are microscopic. Absolutely. I'm just saying, brother, you should definitely look into it. I'm already on the first thing you suggested. Hold on, give me 1 second. Well, here, I'll just bring it up on the screen here. Zoller Paragard. Right here. All right, there's a link, and this is it right here. Paragard. It tastes like pepperoni. It tastes like garlic, mint, and oregano. It's got a bunch of just herbs in it. It's all food. Zoller Paragard. Wormwood, garlic ball, pumpkin seed, clove, yada 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 yada. Kosher. And me and my whole family take it. I've got a bottle right now. I take it 3 times a day in March. You have to take it after you take it the first time for 30 days. Every 3 months, you take it for 10 days. 30 drops 3 times a day. Wake. Why did the tomato cross the road? There could be tomato sauce in my chicken nugget. No, that's horrible. Space Cow, excuse me, my hands moved to the pyramid. Give everything people love you. Hey, brother, listen, the doctors ain't letting you know. I don't know why. It's that easy. It's that easy, right? And why don't they? Why do I know that? Why do I know this? And they know it too. A significant interaction between latent toxoplasmosis gondii and the C677T MTHFR gene polymorphism. Regard cognitive function and folate metabolism. So, like I say all the time, everything comes down to how your guts work. If that gene isn't expressed properly, what happens? Well, your body doesn't absorb folate, which is B6 or B3. Folate, B vitamin. B9. I was completely off. B9. Right. So your body's not absorbing B vitamins from your food, from your nutrition. It could be because you got bugs in your gut. It could be something different. It could be something left over at one time you had bugs in your gut. And they don't come out in your poop. They're not all crawling around. They don't make your butt itchy, stuff like that. But absolutely, it's very, very important. And if your body can't absorb it because of your genetic issue, you should be supplementing with it with folate. Either way, that number one. If they didn't tell you to take folate, they're crazy. So what about these parasites? Yeah, so you should take an anti-parasitic. I bought a microscope and go to 400 times, look at bananas, a lot of other stuff. You see a lot of parasites, right, and we're lied to all the time and said, no, we're too clean. America got rid of parasites in the 1890s. We're clean. Yeah, right. What do you think most sexually transmitted diseases are? They're parasites going from ding-a-ling to vagina hole and whatnot. Don't skip my joke. What joke? Goofy Goober, I think people don't like Jen. That's funny. They're slow. They need to catch up. Yeah, well, you got them pretty much. Like look, most people have parasites. If you eat food, especially vegetables that you're not growing, you got them. Yeah, get rid of them. Where do you buy it? This is off of Amazon. That's the link right there if you want it, Tara. C7 said, yeah, yes. There are others, absolutely, but it all comes down to. Let's just do this. Okay. So you have 677T and what's the other one? 5-MTHF, which is what it morphs into. General population. And look, so this says right here, 1/3 of the global population has it, of T. gondii, or has been exposed to it. It's definitely more than that. Definitely more than that. If you have a cat or had a cat, yeah, it's more than that. I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but then I turned myself around. That's what it's all about. What up, doorknob? What are the symptoms? Folate deficiency. So the thing is, if you've got parasites, they're eating your food. You're not getting what you're supposed to out of your normal nutrition. So MTFR, as most commonly A1298C, reduce the activity of the MTHFR gene, which converts folate into its active form, methyl tetrahydrofolate. Like I talked before about B12, you need the methylated version, methylcobalamin. Anyway, this impairment can lead to folate deficiency, high homocysteine levels, high stress, a function homocysteine levels, reduced methylation. So all of your vitamins and minerals that need, or vitamins that need to be methylated, don't get methylated. The methylation breaks down. Tired all the time, exhaustion, no sex drive, potentially leads to cardiovascular, neurological, and mental health issues. Converting dietary folate into 5-methylfolate, which is needed to turn homocysteine into methylamine. It's very sufficient. Reduced activities, higher risks of neural tube and pregnancy, cardiovascular diseases, depression, metabolic issues. Supplementation with 5-MTHF is recommended as it bypasses the need. Do you see this? Using it is recommended because when you take cobalamin, B12, your liver needs to methylate it. So I take it already methylated. Methylcobalamin, right? So if you take methylfolate, your body you don't need that gene to be active to methylate folate. It's already methylated, so your cells start using it right away. Sorry, I get behind. Jeez. I put my finger into, I love bananas. So, brother, we're talking about people's healths. Ones are interesting. No problem. Man, they're your invisible friends. I didn't see your joke. Did I just say it? Yeah, I just said it. I'm just behind. I'm getting there. Exhaustion, depression, no idea. What do you call a tin of ground beef? Do you recall the crab man? Yeah, let's look that up in a second. Fake noodle, impasta. What does it make you feel? Exhaustion, depression, low sex drive. And Goofy coming in with heaters. I'm sitting here something nice for you. Iridescent auspicious cloud. Oh, geez. All right, let's look that up next. Iridescent auspicious cloud. I got the methylated. Yes, you need the methylated version. Drink methylated spirits. Do you know about it? I know a lot about asbestos. Yes. Methylfolate is going to be the next step. Yeah. Listen, you guys really need to get your methylated vitamins. I'm telling you, listen, we're unhealthy as hell. Like, no matter what you think you drink and what you take, you got things in you that ain't putting it in you. It's got to get from your gut to your bloodstream, from your bloodstream to your I was going to say tonsils, tissues. I used to be addicted. Jesus Chrysler. No, I just have a need. I need for speed. I've been staring at the ceiling, making friends with the shadows of my walls. Why don't you write on a broken pencil? Because it's pointless. Seagull folate dot wave. Your brain must be sharp. Yeah, my brain's very sharp because I'm so appointed. I think I'll pass on the methylated weed though. Yeah, stay away from that. Absolutely. Classic joke. If your imagination became physical, what would haunt the streets tonight? If my imaginate... We should do a video about that. Okay, hold on. What am I looking up here? Hold on. Let me catch up here. I'm slow. I think I just closed the wrong one too. Ooh, wow. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Wow, look at that. Wow. Hold on. Look at this stuff. Gee. Oh, that's all small. It looks like it's through a filter. Cloud iridescence. Yeah, great. I've never even heard of this before. Now I got another sleepless night looking into this. Not sharp, but healthy. Play with math rock, not with... right. Is banana bread safe? I love it. I love banana bread. But, I mean, cooking things kills bugs. My imagination sky would be purple. Georgie, don't be a pud. What's the point? Eat plant-based diet for a healthy mind. Brother, listen, the problem is only if you grow your own food. The plants we get in the store are picked way before they're ripe, and they're artificially ripened, and they're artificially ripened when they're not connected to the ground, so they do not have the nutrients that they should, and they're sprayed with a bunch of pesticides and stuff, which also stop the absorption. If you're not growing your own food, do not be a vegetarian. It's very cool. Do you recall Silent Bob? I do. Did you guys see my joke you just sent? Yes, I think I said it. I'm not seeing it from... Oh, never mind. Down, remember, you can Google it. What, ISS? ISS down. I have a picture of an iridescent cloud somewhere. I can find it. Share it. Yeah, share it on Discord. Have you seen how vegetables and fruit look before and after? Before and after what? Before and after ripening? Yeah, yes. Head of math, Rog. Do you recall I'm about to move 10 hours away from here and look for my Fukin peppers aren't ready for harvest. What I'm going to do? Drive 10 hours back. Grow a tomato garden. Now listen, you don't need much land. You don't need acres. You need feet, and you can grow a bunch of stuff. And the thing is, you only have problems if you grow like 100 acres of corn and you get a bug that eats 100 acres of corn. If you've got like 6 plants of corn, a couple of squash, a couple like it's much easier to tend, and you can just hose off bugs because you don't have acres to deal with. The stuff you hear about farmers having issue with, that's over thousands and thousands of plants, not a dozen. There's Zara's back with the boo. Let's deal 1 tomato. Is it okay? Yeah, you can do that. Bell peppers are good for you. Madamus Cloud. 10 hours for peppers. I'll bring it with me. Dig them up, right? Dig them up. Bring them with you. Madamus Cloud. I've never heard of that either. Wow, that looks man-made as all get out. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that looks probably very cold weather, I would guess. Like it's heating up. Anvil and Madamus. Never heard of Anvil or Madamus Clouds. I wonder if they were called something else when I was a youth. I remember a time I accidentally saw the ISS such random timing. I walked with my mom's sunset, looked like a satellite. Hey, Mom! How have vegetables or fruits changed? So they're picked before they're... well, I can show you. But they're picked before they're ripe. So they use ethylene gas. Like, we'll just look at bananas. Bananas artificially ripened. Banana. And it's right with ethylene gas. Let's see if we can find a video on it.
The bananas that you get at the store have all been harvested while they were green, and they've been ripened using ethylene gases in warehouses. So not really a natural way of ripening bananas. By growing bananas at home, you can...
And they're not connected to the soil. They're not connected, so they're not pulling in the nutrients that they would use. They use different cycles to flower and when you get into a vegetation cycle, so they grow the fruit, but then they go into a ripening cycle when the fruit is now mature and now gets the vitamins and nutrients that it's supposed to store. It never gets to that point. They use ethylene gas to make them yellow. That's why when you get them that are so firm, even though they're yellow,
ripen
grow zucchini in
fruits
your
on the
backyard.
tree. These are absolutely
I grow a lot of
delicious. And
vegetables.
eventually, over a period of time, all the bananas on the plant will ripen very quickly because each ripening banana releases natural ethylene gases that ripen the entire bunch. By growing bananas at home, this is something that you can achieve. You can eat them fresh right off the tree. Very sweet, very delicious bananas,
correct.
and
That's
that's a
correct.
big win for you because
Yes, bats help in pollinations of bananas. Absolutely, yes. Catching. Thanks, bro. Here's back. Chicken eggs. What? I just learned something new. That wasn't what I was talking about. What do you, what? Sorry, brother. I'm trying to get through everybody's conversations. What did I miss, Zoo? Zyruvier? Zai? I'm guessing it's Zai. Zex? Z? Zaruve? Banner. We love it, bro. Listen, I'm trying my best. And listen, we're going to get through this. Burner. My burner phone. Okay, so what were you talking about, Zai? And what were you talking about, too? Goofy, what? Did I miss it? I don't see it. Last thing I see from you says, did you already see my joke I just sent? No, why don't you write with a broken pencil was the last one I saw, and I said that one. You didn't see my joke. Vegetables and fruits before and after. Okay. Before and after what? Do you recall last time you ate healthy? Every day. Before and after. Google that. Vegetables before and after. Okay, I got you. Google that. Okay. Sir Jacob. Okay, hold on. Before and after eating them? I don't know what you mean. My friend wants a review of his music. I'll send a complete recording. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, before and after. Okay, I see. I think I see.
This used to be before humans redesigned it. Humans have completely changed what fruits and vegetables used to look like. All right, so you know what this is? All right, this is corn. Scraggly grass called teosinte with kernels that were like gravel. This was a peach, the size of a cherry, salty, earthy. Apparently it tasted like a lentil. Watermelons looked like pale marbled blobs, not that candy red we know today. And carrots were thin, bitter, and purple until Dutch growers made them orange. And how about this? Bananas were packed with hard seeds before crossbreeding made them sweet and sterile, like me. What? And then we got these little things, which are actually early eggplants. They had thorns.
I can Space Cowboy, but I won't. I don't have one. I went to a zoo once and I only had one animal dog. It was a shit zoo.
No days off. New fact daily. I'll see you tomorrow.
Right, and see what we don't understand is we take knowledge from the past when these fruits and vegetables were very good for us, and then we modernize them to grow them in bulk, which dropped the nutritional density. And when they advertise the vitamin and nutrient capacity, can't think of the term I'm looking for, of a vegetable and a fruit, it's the old school stuff that they studied in 1930. Can you see anything under banana? Can you see it if anything comes up under? Okay. Banana microscope 400x parasites. Banana.
Because of this viral video above me, many people were led to believe worms exist in the brown spots of bananas. Let's see if this is cap or fact. Firstly, how do bananas go brown like that? It's usually a result of bruising on the banana. That is, it's not necessarily a rotting spot. When I looked at this under the microscope, I could only see banana cells. So what's going on with the original video? Well, I believe it's fake. It's really easy to grow and add microbes to a sample. I've done this exact process here. I've added microbes to the banana cells.
Those are
now look, my sample size is and some bananas might contain
that's correct.
But to
that's
conclude
correct.
that every brown spot on every banana has a worm is incorrect. And it's terribly convenient for this microscope account. Just so happened to film this content and receive millions of views. So here's my conclusion. I think it's fake. Shock value content made to get viewers and
that works. How modern veggies didn't exist before human intervention. How many of our modern veggies didn't exist before human intervention? Most of them. Most of them that we eat broad. Like, dude, hold on. So hopefully it's the correct banana. Right. Curd is also horrible under microscope. Dude, listen, turds and curds. What up, ND? So just take what I'm saying to you about parasites, right? And then just do your own research. Say like how do you feel? Say depression and parasitic infection, and then see what they talk about, and then like how you get that parasite. Like, okay, like the Toxoplasmosis gondii, 60% of the world has it, and most cat owners, right? So if you say depression and Toxoplasmosis gondii, okay, I understand you might not know it, but you could say cat turd worms. Toxoplasma is associated with increased depression, anxiety, suicidal behavior, acting as neuroinflammatory trigger for mental health disorders. Think about all of your friends that are liberals that are off the chain, off their rocker. Why? Why is it not easy for them to think like we think normally? Why do we have to hate people? And a lot of them may have cats or may have had cats at one point, but why are they off the rocker? Mental health issues, but why? And this is what I think it is. Because listen, I don't have issues like that, and I can handle all you people, and you can call me big nose and ugly and Jew and whatnot, all that good stuff, and it doesn't bother me. And Toxoplasmosis gondii is focused with all this for mental health disorders. Latent Toxoplasmosis has higher rates of depression, increased parasite antibody levels. So even if you've only had it and then got rid of it, if you still have those antibodies in your body, you can still have the issues. So then let's just say ADHD. Okay, conflicting results whether infection causes the disorder, but links say it decreased the symptom severity. So there are studies that say Toxoplasmosis gondii causes ADHD. But then when you look to see what Toxoplasmosis gondii does, it can decrease the way your body absorbs the B vitamins, folate and and cobalamin. And so kale is an alien veggie. Let's look it up. How you doing, Snuffles? Most of our modern veggies come from mustard plant, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all man-made. Yep, all man-made. Sir Jacob, I hate cat. Woof, woof. Grr. Good boy. All right, let's see. So, but it's interesting, and people don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to me, and I understand that, but they'll listen to themselves, and it's so cheap. All the hundreds of thousands of dollars you'll spend over 40 years paying for ADHD meds, and then when you stop them, the ADHD comes back. Why? Oh, because it's genetic. Or is it? Or do you just have a freaking bug? And then this is the way doctor's offices should work. Hi, doc, I have a problem. Okay, well, the first thing we're going to do is test your blood, get you on an anti-parasitic. That should be the first thing. Then when they test your blood, they can check for vitamin deficiencies, and they can check you and they can get you on an anti-parasitic. Either way, even if you don't have parasites, you can get on an anti-parasitic. But the problem is then you won't be back for pills for the next 30 years. You know, it's very, very, Indy's new channel is a scam. Different personalities and intelligence also affects people's behavior. Right. Sure, absolutely. But I'm talking about psychosis. Like, why is it going so far? Why is it so bad now? I have ADHD, been raw dogging life with no meds, loving life. Yeah, I'm raw dogging it too. I just take vitamins. I think different personalities were caused by traumatic events. I think that's a possibility too. And think about this. You should get mad when you get mad, but you shouldn't stay mad for a year or 6 years. Like, why are people why do they get so mad? Well, they're bipolar. I have ADHD. I have autism. Great. So do a lot of people. Why are you also so overreacting? Some of it's actually acting, but I think this is a lot of it. Think about how many people have cats. 6 to 7 years, 6, 7. We are a summary of our experiences, right? But we don't have to be. We could be positive about them too. A lot of people go through a lot of shit. They don't all become absolute jerks. Time travel, and then studies say, okay, while some research finds direct association, TII patients particularly increased hyperactivity associated with higher ADHD symptom severity. So even if it don't get rid of it, it makes it better, right? And think about the people that have stress in life and get a cat to help with that. They have anxiety. They want to get a cat, and then their anxiety gets worse, so then they get on pills. But my cat got shot, and I give him drops on the back of his neck, 42. Life, the universe, and everything. What do you call 7 when it's sick? 6, 7. Traumatic events as a child from birth to 5 can cause things to wire the brain certain ways. Yeah, no, I agree also. Right, but you also, so then the thoughts come up. But how do you react to those thoughts is different with people without the brain. It's all about the brain, neuroscience. What? If you lose your dad, guess what? Bam, early puberty and stunning growth. Yeah. Yes, it's very interesting how that happens in a lot of people because you become the man of the house. And this is a well-documented thing. Back during World War I and World War II, a lot of dads were lost. And during World War II, because after World War I, obviously, 2 comes after 1, so many people died in World War I that the kids that were being sent, the teenagers, the young adults that were being sent to war were like, I'm going to leave a kid here to bake because I'm probably not going to make it home, and we got a lot of these people today. 6, 7, 5. So anything, what's next? What's the next autism? Let's see what they says here. Research suggests that a link between toxoplasmosis gondii and the risk of developing autism. So if your mom has a cat and then you end up with autism, or the is a possibility, you having that or your mom having that, having had or having toxoplasmosis gondii increases the chance that you'll be autistic. It's 1.93 times. That's 193% times higher risk of infection with people that have ASD. The parasite may cause chronic neuroinflammation, stress, neurotransmittal changes, acting as an environmental risk factor for autism. Cat poop parasites, and we don't do nothing about it. None of you people have had a freaking parasite cleanse. None of you, guaranteed. And unless you had one, like you looked in the toilet and saw worms looking back at you, then you're like, maybe I'll just drink it. And listen, I think alcohol, the reason a lot of people abuse alcohol is because they don't realize what they're doing. That actually works as an anti-parasitic for gut worms and whatnot. I'm not very artistic. I never thought of it like that. Right. Space Cow, sell your toy trains and grow a pair. I like his toy trains. And look at this. 2025 National Institutes of Health. T. gondii is considered a risk factor for autism. Delayed motor development, intellectual dysfunction are common among children exposed to the parasite. How many times, especially when you're just growing up and you're 6, 7 years old, 6, 7, and your mom says, go change the litter box. And then you're like, why is my kid getting all wagged? Toy trains are sick. Yeah, I think they're kick ass, especially when they're set up like that. High prevalence of toxoplasmosis, possible association between toxoplasmosis and autism. Relationships, toxoplasmosis, the role between maternal toxoplasmosis and the development of a child. 100 autistic patients. How many? Let's see. Eight. Okay, 8 of them were infected with toxoplasmosis gondii. The national notes that the science of the genetic mutation analysis found that human mitochondrial disease in autistic patients reference 2%. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of interesting freaking wand video. All right, here's your wand video.
Something I call lightning craft. I'm using the tip of the wand here to deposit charges.
So what would you do to help the child per se? So 100% parasite cleanse at first. Know what you're dealing with. So think about it. My child's got autism. What can I do? Go to the doctor and get on some pills. Okay, great. What can I do? What can possibly cause autism? And the way you ask the question is autism or autism-like symptoms, ADHD-like symptoms. Because just because there's no data in some places that might say, hey, this parasite has never been studied to see if it's against ADHD, but ADHD-like symptoms, because you might still have ADHD, but you could lower how bad the hyperactivity is, is or how bad the mental issues are. So parasite cleanse, number 1. Number 2, get a blood test to see how much serum vitamin level you have to make sure that your body is absorbing the vitamins and minerals it should. But regardless, you can do the parasite cleanse anyway because you got something. There's tens of thousands of parasites that are just on our food. If you get bit by a freaking mosquito, I mean, think about malaria. It took out millions of people, and that was just in the spit of a mosquito, right?
On the surface of this plastic sheet, which is sitting on the top of concrete. Wherever the wand touches the plastic, that's where charges will be left. So when the charge is finally neutralized in the form of a lightning bolt, they'll follow the path that I created. You've probably guessed by now that this wand is a high voltage device capable of generating copious amounts of charge.
Copious.
So it's probably no surprise that it can easily set fire to flammable vapors. But you might not have expected that since this device can produce so much ion wind, it can also extinguish fires.
Ionic wind. Give the kid a dirt bite. Toy Trader 6, paint pen doing. There you go.
Here's an interesting phenomena I discovered entirely by accident. Here we see the wand attract.
Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. Antidepressants, SSRIs, what's this stuff called? Benzodiazepines, for meltdowns and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot. It doesn't do anything because it doesn't stop the problem. And why isn't the first thing they do is make sure there's no parasites? That's what I don't understand. Because I wash my child. My child's not dirty. Okay, cool. Dubstep and a lightning wand. I want to go to that guy's house.
Attracting nearby iron particles and giving them a huge amount of negative charge. Some of those tiny iron particles gain so much charge from the wand that they spontaneously ignite when they leave the field.
Yes. They absolutely do. They give benzos to kids with autism. Look. Benzodiazepines in the role of autistic kids for meltdowns. Benzodiazepine. Benzodiazepines are discouraged by the high risk while they're used as a last resort for behavioral decompensation. They can have severe side effects. Of course they can. You can't see that. Benzodiazepines in autism spectrum disorder, autistic meltdowns, de-escalations. But that's just diazepine, but diazepam, which is Valium, right? But other ones. But yeah. What a F up. Dubstack like one.
All this is possible because the wand can produce over 120,000 volts of continuous direct current. Thanks to the powerful onboard cascade multiplier, there's more than enough energy to raise somebody's hair.
Holy crap.
Alright, discharge.
I met dudes took benzos too far. He's not okay. Asking for his dollars.
All the energy delivered to the tip of the wand is channeled through the handle and into the person that's holding it.
Channeled through the handle.
So naturally, if I ground the tip, I'll become the high voltage terminal and my hair will stand up too.
Try washing it first, dude.
Normally, traveling vortex rings are a stable shape, but the intense electric fields created by the wand instantly dissolve the geometry of the vortex rings, causing them to explode on contact.
Explode on contact. I still have my... you people and your sick.
Now that you've seen what the wand can do, I'll show you how I built it. Here's the assembly that makes it all work. It's based on the same zero-voltage switching circuit that's become famous online. In an earlier post of this video, several of you asked me for a full schematic, so I reposted the video, and here it is. Everything is powered by these two high-drain lithium-ion batteries. The custom 8,000-volt transformer was made by completely epoxy encapsulating the secondary of a CCFL transformer and adding a 10-turn center-tapped primary coil. A quick circuit test at 8.4 volts reveals everything is working great. 3 push switches are wired in parallel and attached to this acetyl ring, which allows you to squeeze the outsides of the case in from any side to activate the circuit. It's important to use MOSFETs with a low on resistance in the circuit since there's hardly any space to dissipate the heat. Mine are 6 milliohms, which means they generate almost no heat running about 5 to 6 amps. The value of the resonant capacitor will depend on the transformer that's used. In my case, I used a 1 microfarad capacitor. Since the inductor has to handle the full current of the circuit, I made sure the inductor I used was rated for 8 amps. You won't find Phoenix Feather or Dragon Heartstring at the core of this wand. Instead, a chain of diodes and capacitors line its core. Each capacitor is 100 picofarads at 8 kV, and all the diodes are 8 kV.
That's expensive. That's about $100, more than $100 worth of capacitors right there.
At 5 milliamps. All the diodes and capacitors are soldered together into an and all the diodes are 8 capacitors line its core. Each capacitor is 100 picofarads at 8 kV, and
100 picofarad at 8 kilovolts. 100 picofarad, 8 kV. kV caps. Mauser. All right, let's see a DigiKey. Oh, wow. Oh, no, those are micro. Okay, let's look at bigger ones. We gotta find bigger ones. Where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? That's 2 kV, 2 kV, 50 volts, 2 kV. He said 8 kV. Where'd they go? Tolerance, PF, where's that? Wow, it doesn't even have them at 8 kV. Okay, let's see. $100 picofarad. $4.99, $4, $5 a piece. What up, Robert? I gotta make a lot of money on the lighter-based gas. Lightsaber. It uses butane gas, and they have rings in them that are encrusted with different metals. Like different metals burn, different metallic powders burn at different colors. Lightsaber for real, for real. Here it is, right here. Here it is.
I just bought the world's first real lightsaber. This is made by Hacksmith Industries, the same people that made, you know, pretty much real lightsaber that can burn through metal. Well, this is the version of that you can actually buy. So let's open it. A box, but wow. Now these are apparently tips that can change the color of the blade. So they look dirty, but I would guess that's the chemicals that allow the flame to change colors. Do not try this at home. I'm a qualified professional. I went to the University of Lightsabers. That's probably good. Turning on the world's first real lightsaber by Hacksmith Industries in 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, that looks insane. Whoa, look how red it gets. This is honestly way more insane than I thought it was gonna be. So let me know in the comments what you think I should test this out on.
Your freaking dog. Very tasty chat this evening. Yeah, it's been bruh. Katra. You dirty. Katra's pushing her ace all the way to the limit. She's over-aced herself. Now all her hormones are pushing out into her keyboard. Constrain yourself. It's not a lightsaber. It's a big lighter. It's exactly what it is. And they have different tips you can put on to change the color of the wand.
This is the world's most realistic lightsaber. It's patented by Disney because they needed a real-looking lightsaber for their Disney parks. What makes it special compared to toy versions is that smooth extension and that perfect glow. Inside, there's a clear cap with 2 translucent tapes attached to motors that unroll it from the inside, allowing the lightsaber to extend upwards. As they extend out of the hilt, the tapes bend into a concave shape to create that rigid blade. And on the tapes are a series of bright LEDs that are programmed with strobing and flickering effects to create that perfect lightsaber glow as you move it around. Can the blades touch each other?
This one is not used for battle.
So I should not, you should not touch it.
No, you would
Much
not.
like a real lightsaber.
Yes, you don't want to get burned.
Of course.
Right? Of course.
For more of Disney's coolest tech, go watch our longer video.
Yeah, that's cool. I've been long years sub Hacksmith, and it's nothing special. It's a powerful color. Yeah. No. Hacksmith is the company that sells the lightsaber. Hacksmith Industries. Hacksmith's got it. I'm sure they got a YouTube channel too. Yeah. No. Hacksmith is the company.
I just bought
This
the
guy's
world's
name's
first
Kyle Kruger.
real.
Hacksmith is the company that makes it. But oops. Exactly. It's not real too. It's LED. Yeah. You're not gonna make a lightsaber. Yeah, that's the power supply. You need like a backpack full of freaking like a big ass backpack full of batteries, and you would burn yourself to death. You would light yourself on fire. Hacksmith, the dude that makes your stuff. Okay. Let's see. Hacksmith lightsabers. Hack. Let's see what the cost is. $2,500. What? Oh no! Now they're $463 for the complete Gen 2, the real Photo Saber. The high-powered flat plasma lightsabers on their YouTube channel are not for sale and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's see what the real Proto Saber looks like.
We've been developing
4,000
degrees for over
degrees.
7 years now, with 7 iterations, each being better than the last. But today, it's time to cut.
All right, hold on. Right, so this they're actually using like argon gas as a shielding gas, so they don't freaking cook their faces. I guess. Let's see. I mean, yeah, they're just selling toys that'll hurt you. What am I looking for here? Oh, sorry.
Horde.
This right here is the world's first fully self-contained plasma-based lightsaber.
Plasma-based.
Pike. Now I know what you're thinking. It is a little bit long, but let me show you how we got here, and more
Okay, so that's
importantly,
where they pack
where
all the
this takes us
batteries, I
next.
guess, in the
we
bottom.
took everything we learned from our proto sabers and have perfected the design to be fully self-contained. This is a critical stepping stone to developing the iconic lightsaber. But before we can tackle the challenges of making a normal-sized lightsaber, there is still a lot for us to
Yeah,
learn
they still have the
and
gas in
improve,
it and
like the
everything,
components,
too. So look at
layout,
this
and the
stuff out there.
optimization
Okay,
of
check
the
out
regulators,
Iron Man.
flow
This is
control,
cool.
and
Oh,
electronics.
yeah, no, dude,
So,
that is
here
so
is where we are
awesome.
today,
Yeah, we'll look
the
at it.
Lightsaber Pike. This video is sponsored by Shopify, which is a service we use and love, but more on that later. And it's funny, because we actually managed to follow the exact same development cycle as the Star Wars universe. It's going to be extremely dangerous, as it can allow anything to burn. Not just the metal door we're trying to cut, but the whole lightsaber can go up in flames if we don't do this right. So in order to safely store pure oxygen at a high pressure,
Okay, they're using
we partnered
oxygen.
with Swagelok
Wow, so they're
Ontario,
just trying
who
to get
provided
it
us
hot.
with 3 double-ended cylinders, cleaned for oxygen service, which should give us about 3 minutes of runtime.
Yeah, this is dumb.
These bottles had to... This is so much better than the Proto Saber.
Yeah, 7 hours
With
later.
the Proto Saber, all these sparks and all the molten metal was just burning me.
It was
And now I
burning.
actually get to stand like a few feet back.
It's still just a big lighter. Yeah, okay, Alex Iron Man Echo. Alex Iron Man exoskeleton. Yeah. This guy's freaking awesome, dude. He's I'm pretty sure, I think he's either Russian or Ukrainian.
Have you ever wondered if a real-life Iron Man suit is actually possible? Well, this guy, Alex, is proving it can be done. He's being called the real-life Tony Stark, and for good reason. He built a working Iron Man suit. He spent nearly 6 years to build this
my
armor.
friend Tyler
Although he
taught
couldn't
me
make a
how to
real
make
arc
lightsabers.
reactor, he
3 rubber
cleverly
bands and a
replaced it
piece
with a
of tin foil
hydrogen
and
reactor.
Nicholas
And this is
present.
currently the only personal
Yeah, I
hydrogen
hate
reactor in
him,
the
brother.
world relying on hydrogen.
pay
He
attention to
successfully
that.
used plasma jets and
Plasma
hydrogen
cutter. Right,
combustion tests to
So
develop
they made a
energy
handheld
pulses and
plasma
cutting
cutter that
devices for
probably,
the armor's own.
that probably needs to be refueled every use. Yeah. I'll look the other one too. I don't know which one this was. Let me see.
arm. In fact, this part of the research took the longest time. In order to allow the reactor to control the armor's limbs, he built an aluminum steel alloy exoskeleton equipped with myoelectric sensors that can sense muscle movement and control the armor's actions through high-pressure, hydrogen-powered pneumatic devices. He realized the core drive technology of Tony Stark in the movie, allowing the various parts of the armor to work together. He's still perfecting it, but a complete, fully functional Iron Man suit might not be so far off after all. Have you ever wondered if...
Yeah, not too far off. Not too far off. Yeah. Just give me another $1 million in another couple of years. We'll get there. Another $1 million, another couple of years. Almost there. Almost there. Just around the corner.
This is my latest retractable lightsaber.
How did this night end up going this late? I was going to end at 9 o'clock. It's all right. We're good.
Featuring an instant extension, the brightest, most realistic blade in the world, and full retraction. It does all this.
That's the thing. So if your arm can't go that fast and it goes 3, and the suit makes your arm flex 3 times that faster, you're just going to rip your tendons off of your muscles and bones. Ligaments and tendons. Other exoskeleton tech has gotten pretty crazy. Yep. Cool. Right. But bad arc reactor. I mean, real one takes a lot to get. Right. His Iron Man suit could be cool. Andy gonna get you slapped.
Replica Graflex hilt. That's right, replica. Same base hilt that they used in the original Star Wars movies. Even better, like many of you asked for, you can now lightly duel with it. To be honest, retractable lightsaber with all these features and a replica hilt is something that I thought was impossible.
What?
So how did we do it?
Impossible.
How does it work? If you've been following along on our lightsaber quest, you'll know this is not our first attempt.
So he's using the
I've
same
loved Star
technology
Wars
that
since I
they're
was a
using.
kid.
He's using.
So I've always wanted to make a real life lightsaber.
So he's using.
For the past
He's using 2 measuring tapes. You know how measuring tapes roll up together? Well, that's what they do. They're using 2 like measuring tapes, like the curved, concave, convex, whatever you're looking at it, and so they're lenses.
For years, that's exactly what I've been trying to do. What started as a literal rectangular box turned into a working prototype with V1 and extended even better with V2. But with V2, we still had things to improve. Namely, the hilt was ginormous, not made of metal, and not duelable at all. That was in June. I've been hunkered down since then, developing this next lightsaber nonstop. The first problem was fairly obvious. How the heck can we fit all of this into a replica?
Telling him to get rid of his toy trains. So I'll be honest with you, little guy, not enough fire. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. Katra, he wants to slap me because he's jealous of my cheekbones.
The hilt. This is the Graflex hilt that we're trying to fit everything into. It is tiny. That's freaking awesome. Shout out to Cal from KR Sabers and the Saber Armory for the hilt. This is such a sick replica and works great for our lightsaber. While it's perfect and screen accurate, that means we had our work cut out for us. We have insanely limited space to fit in our mechanisms. Our previous mechanisms would definitely not fit.
No problem.
Meaning we had to completely redesign the mechanisms and internals. So that's what we did.
Yeah, look.
Here's a quick run.
So laser 3D printers have been around for a long time, since like the 90s. They would use what's called laser sintering metal printers. You have a fine mesh of powder. The laser, wherever the laser hits, melts the powder together, and then you sprinkle the powder over the next, and then you melt the next layer, and then the next layer, and the next layer, and you just keep doing it, and they bond together. It's basically a soldering or welding. But yeah, they've had that since the 90s. They've gotten much more affordable. Instead of like 25 million,
we're now using
like
a clear magician's cane for the extension / retraction with a single high-powered chip-on-board LED strip running through it to provide the light. The magician's cane basically acts like a really long spring that can compress to a really small size. The LED strip is attached internally to the top of the magician's cane. By controlling how much of the LED strip we let out, we can control the length of the blade. The LED strip is stored on a spool. When we want to retract the blade, we activate this attached motor, which spins the spool and pulls the LED strip back. At the base of the hilt, we have another motor that spins the entire chassis, and thus the blade at high speed, providing the awesome optical effect of a bright, pulsing, energetic blade of light.
Yeah,
That's how we hoped it would work anyways.
Why not just digitally flash the lights rather than spin
provided
them?
a realistic blade effect. We had no space to run the LED strips around the cane as we did before,
why.
so we had to run it through the middle of the cane and make the cane clear. Without the spinning, it looked pretty underwhelming. But once
So that's
we did spin
why.
it,
So they want the
awesome.
centrifugal force to center
Next,
it.
we wanted an instant extension for the blade. So,
An
like
instant
before, we used the
extension.
clutch
But I
system.
do know how to use a
When the
laser
clutch is
cutter.
pulled
There you
back,
go,
the
girl.
blade releases and shoots out instantly. When the clutch is pushed forward, it re-engages the gears and allows for retraction of the blade. After redesigning the clutch to fit into our new hilt, we tested to make sure that it worked. Spoiler alert, it didn't at first. After a lot of modifications though, we finally got it working how we wanted.
Dude.
But
What a
we ran
piece of
into another
crap.
problem. Something not a lot of people know about magician's canes is that you can't just push it in to retract it. You have to push it in while rotating the base as well. We needed a mechanism to rotate the base, and for that we settled on this internal gear system powered by a motor. As usual, it didn't work the first time, or the second time, or the third time, but after changing a few things and quadrupling our voltage, it was finally working how we wanted it to. However, we ran into yet another problem, the stiffness of the blade. Since we switched to a
That's
clear
the
plastic
problem.
magician's cane over the
Control
steel
the
cane
length
we
can be
used
useful for
previously,
certain
we've lost some stiffness.
Cheap metal printer costs $100K.
So how did we fix this?
There's
After a
metal printers
lot of
pretty insane,
testing,
yeah,
we
yeah.
found that you can actually stiffen the blade by rotating the cane really quickly
That's cool.
and pulling it down at the same time. This tightens the cane segments together and encourages them to stay straight. But even with these measures, we still had to improve the stability of the blade, so we added a stabilizer.
So I have been
You know what
testing
that is?
these
A
blade
C-ring.
stabilizers for
Yeah,
the
100
past
a
couple of
pocket
days now.
change.
And it's a bit of a problem
Make an
because
engine by giving it
the
blueprints.
magician's cane keeps catching on these little plastic parts. Trying to solve that.
The power
while
of the sun
also
in the palm of
making
your hand?
The stabilizer stiff enough to
Power of the sun,
actually
the palm of my hand.
stabilize
100K is pocket
a
change.
kind of
You can
heavy
spare me a
cane.
poor girl like
This
me.
holds the blade in
I don't know
place
about
and
engine,
stops
but
it
the
from
rest of the
bending
cars
or
are
moving
down with
around.
Ferrari,
We
yeah.
went through a lot of iterations and simulations of this stabilizer, but thankfully this was made easy due to Onshape. Onshape is our CAD
course.
software of choice and the sponsor of this project, Design History Rendering. Onshape for sponsoring this lightsaber, we use an external circuit with its own motor and battery to spin the chassis and blade. However, this was a bulky solution. As you can see, it sticks out of the hilt quite a lot. That's when me, the mayor, commented and suggested we use a reed switch. A reed switch is a switch that is activated with magnetic fields. So when a magnet gets close enough to it, it will turn on, and when the magnet gets far away, it will turn off.
100K
Perfect
is
for our
pocket
use.
change and
This
encore.
meant that we could
I
have
don't
the
see
reed
it.
switch
That's the
wired
last
to
one
the
I see,
coffee
brother.
board inside the internal chassis, and just use a strong
Cass, I got
magnet on the
$5
outside
if you
hilt to
dance like
trigger
a
the
chicken.
lightsaber. This saved us a ton of space. Thanks, me, the mayor. After verifying the electronics worked, we got to soldering everything. And we also wrote the code.
So finally finished the code, writing a custom prop file. Things are working.
Shout out to Olivier Flying 747-8 and Frederick Hubinet for help on the code and answering my
747. I
questions.
don't want to be a chicken. I don't
With
want
the
to be a
code
duck.
written,
Shake
it was
my
time
butt
to
like a
put
Pizza
everything
Hut.
together and
Well,
start
I don't want to
testing.
be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck, so I'll shake my butt like a chicken. Hold on. I don't want to be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck, so I'll shake my butt like a Pizza Hut. Is that an actual line? I'll send you 100K, but you cannot. You gotta count to 1 billion.
What could go wrong?
Ferrari sending powder home after buying car. Make one, right?
We forgot to mark the position of the reed switch, so we have no idea where it is inside the stilts. So we will just
Better than anything we've done this year. And at least they're doing something. At least they're doing something, man.
full extension.
And they're running into problems. They're failing and continuing and failing and continuing and failing and continuing and learning a lot along the way.
More like what didn't go wrong. When we finally got to
It would
testing,
take what?
basically
How long would it take to
everything
count
had
to
a
a
problem.
billion? I think it's
First, we somehow kept
3
switching up the
years.
polarities
If,
for
if
the
it was one number a second, counting one number a second, how long to get to a billion? Counting. 31.7 years. 31 point. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You always gotta look on the positive side. If someone trapped you into it, someone trapped you in a story you could never leave, what genre you secretly hope to? Freaking porn. Just kidding. Genre I could never leave. Definitely comedy, man. Comedy. The saber has some sort of dysfunction. Yeah, the idea is crap. Absolutely. Yeah, comedy. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But this is the thing, 2.1 million views, so they probably made $60,000 minimum on the ad revenue, and they've sold, I guarantee they've sold dozens of these, and they had On-Shape sponsorship. So this is the thing. This is the thing about failing, and people and your community saying, try this, try that. Oh, I want one, and pre-sales and stuff like that. It's everything is worth doing. 31
motors,
years.
So we had to resolder every single motor in our circuit. We also had problems with the blade not fully extending. We also had problems with the blade not fully retracting.
Yeah, it needs a blue pill.
We had components breaking.
The extension piece broke off.
We had more components breaking.
That is a fragment of a gear.
The blade kept doing this wobbly,
I don't understand. Listen, I think sometimes when people make these videos, they do that on purpose to make to raise the tension in the video. Will they make it? Do you think it'll work? Do you think it'll work? Like they know what plastics they need. That their software packages will tell them that their simulation packages will tell them how much torque is on each tooth and which plastics can. Yeah, it seems very
thing due to resonance and critical speeds. And through it all, I was getting increasingly worried. Why worried? Comic-Con. I booked tickets and flights to New York Comic Con to show off this lightsaber in person, but the lightsaber wasn't working, and we were getting closer and closer to New York Comic Con.
So
I realized
back and
it was
forth
time
on
to
video
lock in.
a couple times.
With lots of problem solving, we eventually started having small wins.
So you could borrow someone else's luck for a day. Whose luck? Probably
rewriting some code and
Elon
lubricating
Musk's,
the blade pathway,
because he can
blade
solve
fully
all
extended.
problems, like every problem he comes up with. Light Viagra. Skip a billion. Skip a few. Done.
Oh, wow.
Post the money. Be a pigeon $1 at a
After
time.
switching gear ratios and
Iconic.
using a stronger
1,
motor,
2,
we got the
3,
retraction to fully work.
investment. I could drink 2 cans of Diet Coke. Can I drink? You can't. I can tell you what you want to know. It's
by adding
so
power
the
limiting.
problem with diet soda is it suppresses the satiation hormones, ghrelin, and ghrelin is needed for your brain to tell you you're full. So it can lead to a lot of weight gain. And this has been known since the 80s, 1980s. We've known that Diet Coke makes people fat because how it shuts down the synthesis of ghrelin, the satiation, the satiety. So when you're satisfied, when your belly's full. But yeah, you can drink too, especially if you drink water with it. But you need to find a way to get your real sugars for sure. Someone tell me $100K to invest in pigeon training. It's on its way. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna water.
In the code, we stopped burning out our components. By redesigning weak gears and reprinting with stronger materials, the gear stopped breaking, and eventually, by adjusting the rotation speed of the inner chassis, we solved our critical speed resonance issue. After over 100 tests, we finally got the saber working.
It retracts fully inside the hilts, as you see. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright, people.
Literally 2 days before my flight for Comic-Con.
Of course, the music. It's the fake music, so they know it's copyrighted.
Slice through the railing. I like how it wobbles down into the hole.
Relieved and sleep deprived, I headed to New York for Comic-Con, but of course, the lightsaber broke in transit. Problem is, I think we broke the lightsaber during transit, so you can see the cane is sticking out. That's not supposed to happen at all. So already we know something's a little
So
bit
I turned
wrong
it on
here.
and it fixed.
Ordering last-minute repair tools to my friend's place in New York, I stayed up for hours to fix the lightsaber. After hours of soldering and gluing and reassembling, I finally fixed it and showed it off at Comic-Con.
You're awesome. Pigeons are not real. Only friends envy as the shadows of the wall. Pigeons are real. They're not real birds. It's working for Biden and them. Stop talking about lightsabers. Yeah, we're about done. Don't associate me with dementia, man. Does not amaze me. Yeah, sure. That guy looks like what's his face? He brings his wobbly ass sword. Everybody else has got all kinds of kick-ass stuff. Glowing and growing. What up, David? Love from Kentucky. Love from Georgia, my brother. All right, let's see. What's next? What did we miss? Okay. Digital pigeon models. Pigeon cats with wings. Here's how they make pigeons. They're all fake. I told you they were all fake. This is how they make them. This is how they make them. No problem. Done. You thought that you guys were all fooled. Pigeon cats with wings. Hate from Denmark. Catra, I'm beginning to think you're working with the government. Totally. Look at him. Look at him making the pigeons. Look at it. Look at it. Make it realer. Make it realer. We got a message from Biden saying we have to make it realer. Add DNA. Adding DNA, but they're using the bird as a reference. That's a pre-made bird. You just 3D model. Just play with you. I knew they were working on the bourgeoisie. Today the festival's color is here. Check out the holidays of Vrindian. Okay, festival color. We just had a festival of light. Now we have the festival of color. Holy crap, that's freaking cool. Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit here. Oh, check out the celebration. Well, look at this first. That's a lot of LED work, and it's cool. It's all changing too, so it's not static. So it's deepening the blue. That's pretty dang cool. All right, let's look at the festival. Okay, so we're looking at 3D modeled in my garage. They sit on the power lines to recharge their batteries. That's exactly right. They have inductive chargers in their feet. Teach me the boson particle. I seriously don't know about it. We'll get to it. Let's finish up this clear, and then we'll switch over to the Higgs boson. Chickens are also constructed by the government. Eggs are biologically manufactured, so why they cost so much. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Do you know in China they actually make artificial eggs? They use just two types. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole right now. We'll go into that stream tomorrow. Okay, Festival of Color, holy celebration. Come on, get it out of the way. This is a widow's celebration. They're getting cloudy, throwing flowers. Oh, it's all blurry. But those are all flower petals and powdered color. Okay, where can we find it?
But things didn't go as planned. It all started full of excitement, friends, colors, and that crazy holy energy. We got these beautiful scarves, and even the cows were covered in holy colors. We even tried pong, a traditional Indian drink made from cannabis leaves. And yeah, maybe got a little high.
No, absolutely real. Hold on. Pigeons are not real. All right, look. Let me see if I can find the thing. Here, right here. Look at its feet. Inductive charging coils in its feet, battery in its chest, CPU, speaker, camera in its eyes, and a wireless antenna. Yes, inductive charging coil. That's how they would charge inductively through the field radiating through the power lines. Artificial eggs, brother. Here, let me see if I can find it. Sorry. Artificial eggs made in China, not official. Artificial. see what I can find. Here you go. Oh, come on. All right, so they're making eggs, and they compress. So they have that you can't see the goo right there. They can dip it into water and the goo, and then that's a gelatinous egg, and then they make the egg. They take the fake yolk and put it in there, and then they press it. They just use powdered calcium to press to make the shells, and they're just. Let me see if I can find a fuller. Here you go.
Fact: counterfeiters in China use plastic byproducts to make fake eggs. Fake eggs first appeared in China in the mid-90s and have since spread around the country. To make a fake egg, counterfeiters prepare a mixture of resin and pigment, squeeze it into a mold, and then release it in cold water to form the yolk. They then take the yolk and drop it into a mold, which is filled with a mixture of resin, starch, coagulant, and pigment. Sodium alginate gives the egg white the desired viscosity. Once the proper shape has been achieved, a mixture of paraffin wax, gypsum powder, and calcium carbonate is used to make a credible shell. The eggs are then packaged, shipped, and sold to vendors as normal eggs. The production cost of a fake egg is about half the cost of a real one.
Especially when you're using slave labor.
A person can produce as many as 1,500 fake eggs in a day using the right equipment. Chinese consumers are advised to watch out for eggs that have no smell, real eggs have a faint smell, or eggs that look a little too perfectly shaped, as they could be fakes. Counterfeiters in China use plastic byproducts to make fake eggs. Fake eggs first appeared in China in the mid-90s and have since spread around the country. To make a fake egg, counterfeiters prepare a mixture of resin and pigment, squeeze it into a mold, and then release it in cold water to form the yolk. They then take
too big color made from turmeric and other. Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering that flower petal. There is bad color. I'll say, okay, gotcha. For real. If you're going to report me for something that's worse than my past, right? 1,500. I thought he said 1,500.
The yolk and drop it into a mold, which is filled with a mixture of resin, starch, coagulant, and pigment. Sodium alginate gives the egg white the desired viscosity. Once the proper shape has been achieved, a mixture of paraffin wax, gypsum powder, and calcium carbonate is used to make a credible shell. The eggs are then packaged, shipped, and sold to vendors as normal eggs. The production cost of a fake egg is about half the cost of a real one, and one person can produce as many as 1,500 fake eggs in a day.
1,500. Yeah. That's more than 50. Yes. Now, don't tell me you're serious. Pull my... What? 1,500 eggs? No, I'm serious. I don't know who you're talking about. Yes. Are you talking about me or Andy? I don't know. Yes, 15. So right, one person can make 1,500 eggs in a day, working 10 hours a day. It's 150 eggs. So that's two eggs a minute. One person, 1,500 eggs a day. Yeah, I mean, if they have the right equipment. So think if the yolk is made on an assembly line, right? Like if you have somebody that's just like somebody's making a big ass vat of fake yolk, and then you have even a machine that's just fill dump, you know, and then someone's grabbing that, you know, yeah, a couple, two, 3, 4, 5, one every 10 seconds maybe. I'm pulling both your legs and your arm. Yeah. Cheap labor, $2, 12-hour work. Yeah. No one says I'm working for Biden, just making sure he's unserious. Yeah, he's unserious. He doesn't even know who Biden is. He's from Denmark. I came to America. If ND came to America, he wouldn't make it past customs. Vegan, I don't do that shit either. Listen, it's so bad for you. Listen, if you want to be a vegan, if you or any of your friends that you care about want to be vegans, they got to start growing their own shit. They got to know what all this crazy fake shit's all about. They got fake everything. Dude, have you ever seen... I showed you guys yesterday. Hold on, I got to pee in the toilet. But if I ever shown you guys how they recover oil in China, China has used almost all of its oil on plastics. So they don't have much to cook with and stuff like that. So they recycle the oils that come off of people's bodies that are floating down the in the sewer. Oil floats on the top. They take off the lids of the manhole covers and they put a big ladle down to take oil off the top. And then they bleach that oil. Basically, they filter that oil, get the chunks out, and then they sell it to cook food because you're heating it up to 350 degrees to fry foods in and stuff like that. Vegans do vegan shit. I prefer meat-based animal alternatives, right? Plant alternatives. Okay, shut up, Richard. I know Biden. I studied it for years. Okay, America doesn't play politics over here saying they can work over somebody. You're sensitive. All right, I get you. Pee-pee in the toilet, pee-pee in the toilet, pee-pee in the toilet. 2 foot, 1 hole is crazy. Here, look, I'll show you. I think he's working for Biden. You're gonna get true crime story. I'm sensitive, Richard. I try strong range, man. Jim Carrey clone, brother. I love it. Dude, yeah. We were looking at that earlier. We can look at it again though. How dare you? Okay, work for our Lord and Savior. That's what I do. Okay, so hold on. Chinese gutter oil. I think it's called gutter oil. Yeah, gutter oil. Watch this. Dude, it's so disgusting.
Look at this guy. At first glance, it might seem like he's just cleaning a sewer, but he's actually collecting sewer oil in China. This oil is made from a disgusting mix of waste, food scraps, grease, and even human waste. At night, driven by greed, some people gather this toxic mixture, filter it, and turn it into a clear liquid, which they sell as cooking oil. But this oil isn't just unhygienic, it's extremely dangerous. Consuming it can cause serious health problems, showing just how far some will go for profit. Look at this guy. At first glance, it might...
So they add... when you have people like they have big ass woks that serve like hundreds of people, they dump anti-diarrheal into it because they use this kind of oil and recycled fake foods, and people would just have diarrhea and they would dehydrate and die. So they keep them from getting diarrhea. So their body should be getting rid of this. They should be sick, but they give them anti-diarrheals in their food. They mix it in their food. Let me see if I can find it. China mixing anti-diarrheal in food. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I have to find it. It was in Chinese, but this is when I was doing a bunch of translating back a couple years ago when I was looking into a bunch of stuff. I read a lot. It's supposed to be dino and cheesecake. That wasn't the actual exist. Gross times 10x. Agreed. Well, so what do you want to know about the Higgs boson? The Higgs boson is the field that gives things mass. Like the reason that an electron has mass, like how do you weigh it? Which direction do you weigh it? You can't put it on a scale because it has mass in every direction. So it's got a field around it that makes it weigh something, right? Nothing weighs something if there's nothing to weigh it against. If you want to weigh an egg, you set it on a scale. Gravity is pulling it down, and you're measuring that. But if you and an atom, that's out in outer space, just floating around, how would you weigh it? You need it to weigh it. You would need to understand a lot more about the flavors of the. We're not getting into it tonight. We would have to start pretty early. I don't know how deep you know subatomic particles. ND has good dental insurance. I love you also, Space Cow. Bro, my country Muslim crying on road because Khomeini died already and people celebrating. Right, man? Listen. It's absolutely crazy. And this is a big thing. A lot of them crying are under the assumption that there's going to be big war, that because there's different sects of in Islam. And there's Shia and Sunni and a few other, but so some of them are worried about getting attacked, and some of them are happy that they're free because they've obviously been under rule for so long. And then there's also a from what I've heard, a political version of Islam, which is how to run. That's where like Sharia law comes from, and what Sharia law that they follow. Yeah, so particle name is actually do not exist. The Higgs boson is a combination of stuff there is. No, so Higgs is the guy that theorized it. He said this is how things get their mass. It was called the God particle because without anything being around, how does something weigh something? So he came up with a theory saying how things got their mass, and then that was discovered during the Large Hadron Collider experiments. That was one of the things that it was looking for. And so that's why it got the name Higgs boson. It's a boson, and if you have to look into what bosons do, there's many bosons. Catcher, he's special. Don't mind. He's gonna need new teeth. I need simple chart. It's not simple, and the simple explanation is it's the field that gives subatomic particles mass. That's it. I'll be replacing you with LLM. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. I'll be done with them. You have fun too. Have you watched 3D print food? Yeah, it's so disgusting. 3D printing beef. It's so disgusting, dude. So they make meat pastes and then they 3D print that stuff out. It's so disgusting. And they squirt different color stuff, fake bloods. There's the fat and the blood. And then they smash it all together. And now you cut it up and you got fake freaking meat. That's so disgusting. Do you know if kids in school today still pledge allegiance to the flag? No. Listen, a lot of them pledge allegiance to the Libiquita flag, like whatever the teacher wants them to do. Some teachers are anti-American and they don't even have a United States flag in the classroom. It depends where you are. If I had a 3D print stick, I'd just try it. If I printed it myself, yeah, me too. I prefer cow eggs. As a Wisconsinite, I'm deeply offended. Yes, cow eggs sound terrifying. They fly out in the butt. I saw how they do vegetables too. I'm just curious about how far they've come. Yeah, it's disgusting. Rich, I'm joking. In theory, if I could profile you, in fact, replace you in one of my theoretical projects, by the way, so like hire people. Hey, look, I don't like. I can be replaced at a very light level. Like, no problem. AI can look up stuff that I've looked up. Explaining things to people is something that AI can only do what's already been done. So if somebody says, how does this work? The way that the AI works, it doesn't think that you said, how does this work? It looks for Google searches or other searches that have been done looking for that same thing, seeing what's been the results of that is, then distilling that down to what's the most popular, the highest weighted. And so if you ask, can you explain that better to me? It finds that, like, what's the next thing people looked into? If people clicked on this article and then this article after that, like, and then do deeper dives. But yeah, it gets really complex. It's not a very, very, very good teacher, and it gives you a cursory level education, only as much as it needs to teach you, and then that's when it starts to get expensive. I had suspicion ND still drinks breast milk. Shit, the guy playing with toys. We had to pledge allegiance to the flag every day in elementary and middle school. Yeah, right. Why do you think they cut it down to once a week in high school? Right? Why do you think that is? Isn't that crazy? Like, because they were definitely, this is what one of the big things where they're saying are like one of the reasons Trump got rid of the A board of education? Because the board of education was just administering your administrators. So like it used to be your principals and your vice principals and whatnot that would cover the school, but then they had bosses. So when what Trump found people outside of our country running our education system, they didn't want, they were saying, no, screw that. We're trying to take over America. We don't want kids that respect America. So they start cutting things like that out and stopped it. It's so crazy. And then they start ripping off the teachers, like making the teachers buy pencils and rollers and toys can be food. Imagine spending literal years of your life developing brand new 3D printed food and everybody in the world says nope. Well, that's what Bill Gates did with some of his stuff. It's not like I live in Wisconsin, feed oil my local cows and cow meat, right? Because it helps your community. It helps your community. You've got families that raise cows near you that have for hundreds of years, or at least 50, whatever, however many, and that's how they feed their kids, and how that's what you want to do. And the thing is, they don't just raise cows till they're 2 years old and look at you with cute googly eyes and put a bullet between their eyes. I'm South African, some of the cheapest, highest quality meat in the world. Good stuff. More data equals more you. Here's golden question: is it okay or not? Because government's going to do this shit and delete humankind for sure. Right. Yeah. I think I have a very good aspect. I can answer most questions faster than most AIs. I think once a week, high school. I mean, and I look, only about the stuff I know. Like if you ask me about things I don't know it. So I'd have to look it up too. I think once a week in high school is about an age group. I think you still have to do it every day. In elementary, middle school, I think in high school, some people are over 18. It doesn't matter. So it's not free. The education is being paid for. People that don't like America like to say, oh, you got to pay for your college. Yeah, but you get everything else for free. And if you can't afford college, you get it for free, right? It's just bad press. But much like your fascination with lightning wands, I want to try the 3D beef. We all have our fascination. Thank you, Georgie. Yeah, and I like hosting it. If your life was a riddle, which line would no one understand but you? Up beneath the top of the world, where we saw the golden girl swirled, top to the bottom and bottom to the top. The chef is the one connecting the dots. That line. Bro, South Africa is such an underrated travel destination. I want to go somewhere. South Africa? Is it underrated? No, it ain't. I want to go someday. Everyone's like Paris, Mexico, Japan, Australia, Greece, Africa, dude. Yeah, look, South Africa Africa might be underrated. South Africa is very rated. What do you want advice on? Plus, there's not a lot of places in Africa that I would visit as a woman. Egypt too, right? Yeah, that's a big problem too. Don't go to Iran. I mean, maybe next year. All right, it can be very dangerous, but otherwise too. Cape Town is the place to be. Yeah, look at this. South Africa Tourist Board. South. Really, nobody in my world talks about South Africa. Yeah, get out of your circle, because there's lots of Christian. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. Look at this guy. Hey, dude, what you doing? I'm just chilling, straight chilling. My world being Wisconsin again. I don't know, brother. I don't know what your advice on. My advice to you would be to listen to your elders when they tell you where to best use your time most efficiently. that the best piece of advice I can give to anybody is always have a goal. Always have a goal. And if you say I have a goal and you research your goal and your personal goal is already been done, if it's a product or whatever, but what about your life? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And then every decision you make, say, does it get you closer to that or farther from that? That's the best piece of advice I can give to anybody. But look at this stuff. This stuff's absolutely freaking gorgeous. Look at all the freaking colorful houses. There's the game parks like Limpopo and Drogsburg and KwaZulu-Natal, the barren wasteland of the Northwest. I want the damn food. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Be the person today that you want to befriend tomorrow. There you go. That's a good one too. If you could rewrite one rule in life, what would it be? Oh, jeez. One rule in life? Rewrite it? That's a good question. That's a good question. Think more. So instead of take life day by day or one day at a time, I would tell people to plan more for the future than taking life day by day. Because a lot of people that I know, people that didn't think about tomorrow, they would spend all their money and everything each day, like or each week, not expecting tomorrow to matter. Like, what's it going to matter? You might just get hit by a bus, you know? I mean, I can't say I live in a total safe place either compared to dangerous places across the world. Yeah. No, if you live in America, you live in much safer place than most of the rest of the world, regardless of what the propaganda says. Want to talk about? Hey, Adam, I unfortunately don't have the superpower to be fluent in all languages, which is my preferred superpower when given a choice. Give me your money, the toothless senile man says as he stabs you to death. Take one wrong word, gone. Yeah, it's crazy. Look at the African penguins. Yeah, it's not quite like that here. No. And the thing is, but the anti-American folk will absolutely tell you America is the hellhole. It's the reason the world sucks, and it's exactly the opposite. It's people that don't know enough about what they're talking about. Like. I see a lot of interesting things, like a lot of the actresses that left America when Trump got elected because America's going to get so violent. Now they're moving back. It's so crazy. And then you have people that left America that are like asking for help from Canadians because they left America. Let me see if I can find it. Far right-wing extremist scholar in Canada. See if I can find it. Here she is. All right, here, look at this crazy shit, dude. This is what I'm talking about. This is the insanity I'm talking about. Far left American who fled Trump to Canada begs for cheap housing. And she says how much worse Canada is than America. And then she's still like, I need help from Canadians.
Something that I've never done before on TikTok, which is
I broke something.
That I've never done before on TikTok, which is tell you where I'm located. I'm a
Oh, come on. That sucks.
Who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis.
So she's gonna go in to complain about how she can't have her visa and everything. She fled America because of ICE. She went to Canada, and now she's gonna get kicked out of Canada because of Canadian ICE. But she's only talking about how bad the America is, and how the housing is bad in America, but it's how much worse it is in Canada. But it's okay, because at least it's not Trump's Canada. So everything's worse. The housing's worse. The police is worse. The weather's worse. The people are worse, and everything's more expensive. But no, as long as it's not Trump, and she doesn't even realize it. This is how I'm talking about people that are just wackadoodle.
Crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here. When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States, we headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast. So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway in the Greater Vancouver area. We are attempting to find housing in the western side of this region. My partner and I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans. But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled the United States. And that's not terribly much. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't.
So she left America because everything's bad, but then she found out it's worse up here, and she says Canada's worse, but she still says Canada's better. I don't think you wanted to talk about that, brother.
Can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to.
Right, you don't,
and that's understandable.
Right.
You know.
So right. Why don't I have access to Canadian healthcare? I understand that I shouldn't because I'm not Canadian. She says that's understandable. But she says that illegal aliens and migrants in America should have access to healthcare in America, and that makes sense. But when it's her, when she's a migrant to Canada, it makes sense that she doesn't have access to Canadian healthcare.
No, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the financial situation dire because we can't work. Because there are 2 adults, a cat and a dog, we are looking for more than a room.
Yeah, and she goes on, if you watch the rest of it, and it's absolutely crazy how people do, like they don't understand what they're talking about. Like it's like for them, not for me. Like for thee, not for me. Like and that's what the thing that's so crazy. Like she thought she could go to Canada and get free healthcare, cheap food, cheap everything. Have everything donated to her, like people that come to America get. But why is she leaving America? And why did she? Well, I didn't realize how expensive it was up here. Why didn't you research it before you fled? Because Trump being in office is just going to be so bad. If you got so stressed out, maybe you should get help, and you can get free help. But obviously that didn't happen. Those suburbs where I am, literally houses, building booths. They're just some transit. Looks left, cornfields looks right, town hall looks back, cornfields looks forward, apartments. All right, what did somebody else bring up? George said something. Look up the mainland Los Angeles, home of the original shampoo. And it's so crazy that people don't even think to see how the rest of the world is. They've just heard from their professors and whatnot that the rest of the world, America is the worst in the world. So anywhere else is better. But nobody's trying to get everywhere else. Everybody's trying to get here, and then without researching anything. Okay. Marine Land of the Pacific, located in Palos Verdes Peninsula in Los Angeles County, was a famous 63-acre oceanarium and theme park that operated from 54 to 87, known for the world's largest marine tank at its opening. Later purchased by SeaWorld in 86, closed in 87. That's weird. It ran for freaking 33 years, purchased by SeaWorld, and then closed a year later. Isn't Japan better than America? For what? I mean, in some things, yes, but not overall value of living. A lot of Japanese are trying to get here. That's why there's no young kids in Japan. That's why the birth rate's so low, because they're trying to get to America. If you eat a lot of corn, shamu. I thought you meant shampoo. You said shampoo. Marineland, killerware. Yeah, nice. All right, brother. We'll call it Emily's over here. That's because the cooks at the restaurant I work out bring in corn, grill it, put up free sauce, cheese, give it to me. Yeah, probably health code violation. There's nothing tastes better than that. Corn, yeah. Okay, yeah. I like corn. I'm a fan. I like sweet corn. You can feed dolphins. Okay, shampoo. All right, shamu. Let's see, do they have any videos of shamu? What's this?
The first Shamu was actually caught in 1965.
She was the first intentionally caught live orca whale. The first 3 who had been captured had been caught accidentally in nets.
Yeah.
But they captured her, they harpooned her mother, and they dragged her away from the mother's corpse. It was pretty sad to read about. We've seen Blackfish. We know the waters we're getting into here. In 1971, they did a televised publicity stunt with a trainer named Annette Eckes. She was put in a bathing suit, and they're like, go ride Shamu. Yeah. It'll be great.
Showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
Like, get on the whale.
She falls off immediately. Shamu bites her on the hip and leg and won't let go.
Shamu, now that they don't like training with it, dies of unknown reasons 4 months later. Which you're just like, they killed that whale, right?
Yeah, it sure seems.
Right. But people think they cared about the money. They don't care about the whale. The people that only one American speak English have never gotten free food because of language barriers. I'm 130 pounds. Listen, here's the problem, Katra. The wackadoos that say that, the wackadoos that say Americans, they don't understand that there's 150 different different countries that come into America. We only talk about the Spanish because that's most of them, the Hispanics. So they can make everybody sound bad being Hispanophobic or whatever. But the thing is, if you let Spanish, then you let all the other ones, all the other languages, because you've got them here too. A country has to have a national language. You see what's happening. If they say, okay, press 2 for Spanish, then it's going to be 3 for French, 4 for Portuguese, 5 for frickin' wackadoo, 6 for nut jobs, and everything else. And that's because people take advantage of the system, and they absolutely will. Then they'll sue, and they'll get millions of dollars because the United States government didn't help them, and they felt like they were victimized here because their language wasn't accepted, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. You wish you were Shamu? The Portuguese, all veggies are boiled and doused in white vinegar, salt, olive oil. America, lard, butter, steaks. It's I don't speak imperial. A bunch of lightweight. Yeah, I remember there was a girl that died not too long ago, within the past 10 years. She was, I want to say she was swimming with dolphins, and they grabbed her ponytail and swam down to the bottom of the pool and just held her down there until she drowned. Let's see. Theme park lady drowned by ponytail. Yep, 2010, so 16 years ago. Oh, jeez. Disney sued by a woman claiming to have painful wedgies on water slide. What up, Raid the Fairy? What's wrong with other languages? I'm fine with that. Speak English, but your native language around me too. No. And that's no issue. It's not speak only English, but it's legally learn English if you want to be a citizen so that you know how to read the signs and you know how to communicate when the police say, hey, is everything okay? You know how to say, no, the robber went that way. And that's the big thing if you look on the right side of things, the right-wing side of things. But yeah, that's a big problem. A big problem is people don't know what they're talking about enough, even when there's a language barrier. But yeah, if you speak Spanish and English and if you prefer speaking Spanish to other Spanish speakers, then do it. Absolutely. But then look what you did to catch her. You got her in trouble giving her corn into the wrong language. What up, brother Harsh? What's up? That's effed up. Those Dolphins killed her in the end. Believe her. She skimmed on him somehow. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. All right, where is it? Okay, Dawn. Okay, here it is.
On February 24th, 2010, during the Dine with Shamu show at SeaWorld in Florida, guests were enjoying their lunch while watching trainer Don Brancho interact with the star of the show, Tilikum, the largest orca at SeaWorld.
Okay, it wasn't.
But this lovely afternoon was about to take a dark turn.
So it sees her ponytail hanging over, and he thinks, or she thinks, whoever the orca is, thinks it's a fish. So grabs it and pulls her down. I'm not in trouble. I got corn. That's about the opposite of trouble, right? I guess so. Like she was showing them favoritism towards one dolphin. It wasn't dolphins. It was orca. But yeah, she got one for the other pissed around her. Gorillas like that. Yeah, chimpanzees also. Yes. What to have Trump doing in Iran? So what I don't know what they say over there, but there's been over 40 to 50,000 deaths in Iran in the past 2 months because the Iranian government was killing the Iranian citizens, and it looks like that was being put to an end. And so yeah, that's basically it. Getting that oil, right? First Venezuela, now Iran. I wish I could see it happening to Orca mistook her print. Here, you want to see it?
A split second, Dawn was on February 24th, 2010. During the Dine with Shamu show at SeaWorld in Florida, guests were enjoying their lunch while watching trainer Don Brancho interact with the star of the show, Tilikum, the largest orca at SeaWorld. But this lovely afternoon was about to take
right here. So you'll see her hair hanging down right there. See it right there?
Dark turn. In a split second, Dawn was gone. The massive mammal had pulled her into the pool. The audience watched in horror, unable to comprehend the tragedy unfolding before their eyes.
They thought it was probably
what followed was a terrifying scene as Tilikum violently attacked Dawn, holding her underwater for 45 agonizing minutes. Dawn was actually his third victim. Tilikum's story is one of tragedy and neglect. At just 2 years old, he was taken from his mother in the wild Icelandic waters and sent to a park called Sealand of the Pacific in Victoria, Canada. Food was often withheld as a training technique, and he was regularly...
As a human seeing all this shit, it's horrible. Didn't expect this from Trump. I guess he turned Iran to apologize to the UK with Iraq and Syria. Well, so we'll see, right? So the difference between Iraq and Syria and what's going on in Iran is Iran already has a leader that was supposed to be there. The Prince of Serbia of Persia guy was supposed to be there, and he got kicked out in 1979, 47 years ago by the current Iranian regime. So he's getting his throne back, and this is what apparently. So Trump told the Iranian people, we're going to knock the dog crap out of everybody. You take over your government once the bombs stop dropping. So if that's what actually happens, and it looks like it is, then we'll see. As long as our government, especially the side of the government that doesn't like America, if they don't take it over, then it shouldn't be like that. But we'll see. I got a strawberry bush from a dude and asked him once, "It's cool. I got a guitar from an autistic lady. She wasn't. We probably understood 20-40% of what we're saying to each other. We use hand gestures to figure out the gap. Damn, glad to SeaWorld's no longer a thing. Glad to SeaWorld. Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll keep going.
Targeted and bitten by 2 alpha female orcas with whom he shared a tank.
performing 8 shows a day, 7 days a week, took a toll on him. The orca's aggression first turned deadly in 1991 with the death of Kelty Byrne.
In the UN Charter, no country shall interfere in other internal affairs. Right. So, but what do we know, right? So what we're hearing over here is that there was a tax planned on. And then look what happened when they got hit. They attacked 15 other countries. So if we don't know what the intelligence was, they may have been planning attacks. We don't know, right? And the thing is, the UN was supposed to be taking care of it for the past 30 years, and the UN hasn't done anything. But that's the UN. It's not, the UN's not doing anything. So somebody had to do it. They've been killing 50,000. If you think it's okay that their people just get shot, like 50,000 of them in 2 months, and nobody step in at all, I mean, I disagree. I disagree that we should let innocent children, 13 to 24 years old, just be blasted with AK-47s because they want freedom. Somebody needs to help. Current mullah government in Iran is nothing like the other Mideast governments. There's a little Islamic takeover of the old Iran when they used to be very westernized. Right. They used to have, look at this, 1960s Iran. Wait till you see this. 1960s Iran. 19. Oops. Like, look at this. Look at the women in the 1960s in Iran. Look at the men and women. Look at the high-rise buildings. And this was Iran under their old government before they were just enjoying their lives, being beautiful. And then for the past 47 years, they've been absolutely held to the blade. His name was Tilak, right? Yes. Who gave U.S. power, so-called maintainer of global peace. Brother, it's the Israeli people asked for assistance. I mean, not the Israeli, the Iranian people asked for assistance. You only weigh 130 pounds. Yep, that's a little more, like 130. No, like 154. You have democracy. You used to have a democracy until we got our asses over there. Used to be a Christian country, and oddly enough, in the past 48 hours, over 1 million. Well, we can talk about that too when the numbers actually come out. But that's the thing. Why? How long should we overlook while people are dying, while young people are dying? It's their business. Now it had to stop at some point, and we'll see what happens when it all comes out. What all the propaganda says. But the problem is, they were killing people, and that had to stop. And listen, they've been killing Americans since 1971. Like, they've attacked over 60,000 attacks that came from them on American citizens, and none of our other presidents or anything did anything about it. It's bitter but true. The reason behind every war now is USA. Every war is caused by USA, either caused or backed by USA. Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, it's not true. There's truth in a lot of it, but there's a lot more wars going on now, and Trump stopped a lot of wars. You know, I mean, what would you do? What would you do? Yeah, so I think very big especially anti-Trump people don't want him to help people because other governments should have done it. Other local governments in the area should have helped Iran, and none of them did. And they're saying Trump was bad for it. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying not just Sudan. There's a lot of evil going on. 7 a.m. Yeah, I'm about to go too. I'm going to finish watching this video real quick. Oh, I think I lost it. Yeah. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Ignore the audit. I'll never understand left is justified defending Islam extremism. Right, I don't understand it either. Like these people are being slaughtered. They need help. It's like, and then I understand. And the problem with saying the U.S. is the U.S. isn't you've got different people when a different president is in who represents different factions of the United States. Just because the word USA, letters USA are in there doesn't mean. It's the people that were in power at that time. The people that were in power at that time. Yeah, USA first, destroy Ukraine, so we'll back it. When they were, right. So that was the Democrats. That was Biden, right? And obviously they just got rich off of that. Back when the actual war started, United for with Russia because the Russians are real badass. Right. Okay. Well, what would you have done, brother? I don't know the whole history of Israel and Palestine lands with the two intifadas. Yeah, it goes crazy. This is the thing. You got to learn the history of it, and then what would you do, if Harsh, if you were in power in the United States and you get a call from the Iranian people and you get the intelligence from the American ambassadors and the American intelligence saying they're just killing all the young boys and girls. I mean, I'd help. Yes, a lot of. Now, I don't know what propaganda you're getting. A lot of it's not the Americans that are killing children. They're killing if you're talking about the school, that all girls school, the Iranians put a missile site next to the school and they tried to fire a missile and it went up and came right back down and blew up the school. Now they wanted America to look bad, so they said America blew up an all girls school. It's not what happened. And you can actually watch the video and actually see the launch, and the missile goes up and it has like an engine failure and then it falls back down. So like there's propaganda, and you got to look out for stuff like that, especially when it brings that on. I will say, shut the F up to Iranian people. We can do anything on real ground except pleading if I got the power. On real ground except pleading. Wow. Okay. This is why I think it's important. I think it's important because if they were about to attack somebody and you had a bunch of other countries without surgical precision weaponry, they would just blow the hell out of everybody and they would kill tens of thousands of people rather than dozens. Too many people out there worried about things they know nothing about, as being political, just too trendy or something. I remember a time when it's absolutely become trendy. People, especially in America, children have been taught such a little bit about politics, and they're told who's bad and who's good. But ultimately, we'll see. Like, listen, it's already going. Arguing about it isn't helpful because I can't pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Trump, dude, Harsh wants us to stop." Like that's not the way it works. But we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. I appreciate you guys being here. I love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe out there in the world. Bye-bye.